fly ball deep left. Back goes Kepler. He's at the wall. It is gone. A home run for Mason Wynn. On cue, the Phillies bullpen surrenders a home run. Mason Wynn cracks one, and the Cardinals take the lead again.
Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's a Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Chip Carey on the call last night as the Cardinals win again. Exciting game last night in Philadelphia. The Cardinals secured their 9th straight victory with a 3-2 win over the Phillies. They are currently on Major League Baseball's longest winning streak of 2025. Mason Wynn had the big home run. Carey, which means you also had a big night.
Yeah.
Because of Mason Wynn's home run. Yvonne Herrera also hit a home run. We'll play Beat the Streak and Bet the Board and Home Run Derby a little bit later. But things are good with our St. Louis Cardinals. Let's do the exit survey.
Yeah,
Jamie,
but wait till they play somebody good.
They played them last night. Also swept the Mets at one point. Also beat Paul Skeens.
Anthony, I was just...
They didn't sweep the Mets.
Didn't they?
No, they got swept by the Mets. They won the series. 2 out of 3.
2 of 3?
If I'm not mistaken.
That's when the streak started.
That's when they started.
Yeah.
That's right. Jamie, your biggest or best storyline from last night?
Matthew Liberatore, again. I know he didn't have an amazing night, but he had a good night. That's a really good Phillies ball club. They got a lot of dangerous bats in that lineup, and he managed to get out of there giving up 2 runs. So that's the first thing for me. Next thing, timely hitting. Something I don't think I've said for 3 years about the Cardinals. Timely hitting. They're getting that. Mm-hmm. And then good defense, too. Jordan Walker. First of all, Wilson Contreras at first base. I know we make fun of him. It's extremely hard. Well, first base, that's easy. Well, no, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Wilson Contreras is kind of making it look relatively easy. He's making good grabs on short hops. He made an unbelievable diving defensive play that was ripped towards first base. He's looking good. And Jordan Walker, he chases down the last out of the game coming out of nowhere. I think Victor Scott was going to get there anyways.
Victor did right.
Get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that was a 747 coming through there.
You gotta get your butt out of the way.
Dylan Carlson learned the hard way on that one.
Yeah.
He's running full speed. He's probably not able to stop.
Oh, you just hear his feet.
Yeah. Let me get out of his way.
I'm out of here.
No.
Better get yours.
But those are my takeaways. Is it wrong that I go into every game just waiting for the meltdown and then it doesn't happen? I feel like I feel guilty because I'm always waiting for, the floor to fall out instead of just cheering this team on. It has a 9-game win streak right now. So as of today, I'm just going to try and be positive about the Cardinals because they're giving me a reason to be.
And they also gave you a reason not to be for several years, so I understand why you're there. It's kind of learned behavior for us at this point, but you're right. It's time to be positive. All right, Carey, what was your best storyline?
I'm going to go with the bullpen. Kyle Leahy is impressive. I know he gave up those 2 hits late in that inning, and then they brought in JoJo Romero, which I was questioning to you all. In my opinion, I would have liked to see Ryan Helsley there get the 1 out. You got to get 4 outs, it's fine. You can get a 4-out save. But JoJo came in and did his job as well. So, for me, it's the bullpen. Kyle Leahy is a guy, you remember the movie, Meet the Fockers, The Circle of Trust?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyle Leahy's in The Circle of Trust.
Oh yeah.
He is like
what happened
fully
there?
entrenched. Hey, you got to get in. Once you're in, you're usually good. You can do something stupid to get out. You got to do it a few times. It's hard to get in.
The circle of trust before you know it, your cat's gone.
Exactly. You gotta try. You gotta work your way in, though. And Jinxie was missing. He went and made it. Spray painted another tail of Jinxie. What the hell are you doing? That is not how you get in the circle of trust. Kyle Leahy, you keep performing that way. That's why you're in the circle of trust. He is pitching extremely well. Again, he gave up those couple of hits in the 8th inning, which JoJo came in and got him out, got the out. Now we can get on to Ryan Helsley, and that's however you can get to Ryan Helsley, that's what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so I think the Cardinals they've been playing outstanding, man. But the bullpen has showed up in a way that earlier in the season it left so many questions, so many concerns, because you knew if you could get to Ryan Helsley, you probably are fine. You just couldn't get to him every single night. Yep. And now they are. They're doing a great job.
Did you also burn down the altar? Why put so much damn lacquer on the thing? Marsh, your best storyline.
We talked about this yesterday, different ways for the Cardinals to score runs. They had 2 home runs yesterday, but that first run that they scored, Nolan Arenado, not the fastest guy, right?
Yep.
Great
He's
play.
aggressive in taking second base on a fly out.
Yep.
And initially called out. They go back to the replay. He's safe. He ends up coming in. The Cardinals manufacture that run. Now they give it up the next half inning. However, we're seeing different ways that the Cardinals can score runs now. And yeah, when you needed 2 big runs late in the game, you have your guys bopping home runs out of the ballpark. Like, this team is coming together. It's really fun to watch.
On that play that Nolan Arenado did score on, give credit to Ivan Herrera too, because he came in, he slid in hard, made Edmundo Sosa had to throw it's not illegal. He wasn't trying to take him out, but he came in so hard that Sosa couldn't step into the throw. He airmailed it over the first base, over Bryce Harper's head, and you get Nolan Arenado scoring.
Lucky he didn't hit the umpire.
I was just about to say.
You hit one umpire, and all of a sudden, you can't get past
I
it.
can't get past that video. Every time I see it, I laugh.
Ah, man. My biggest storyline was the same as Carey's. Kyle Leahy, he entered the offseason with the personal goal of trying to be more versatile. Katie Wu wrote about it at The Athletic. He wanted to get both righties and lefties out. He wanted to be more effective in that area. So he made his big league debut, and it was one of the things that taught him a big lesson about matchups and how he just didn't want to be a one-trick pony. Well, Leahy threw 2 1/3 innings last night in relief. He only gave up 2 hits, which both came. Carey who mentioned it with the inning that Jojo Romero came in, struck out to help the Cardinals secure that victory, and he's been dominant against both righties and lefties. Lefties were hitting just .077 against Leahy this season. Righties were hitting 109. So he's been outstanding for them. And the bullpen, which we'll get into at some point in the show today, the bullpen has helped basically turn around the season for the Cardinals in the early going.
Is it the bullpen or the way they're managing the bullpen?
I think it's yes.
It's how they managed the bullpen. How you got rid of some guys.
The bullpen was crap.
They shifted some people around, sent some guys down to Memphis, said we appreciate your efforts, but this ain't good enough.
Right.
And they started playing the guys that are having success, the guys that they trust more. And then other guys are starting to kind of fill in the other spots. Steven Matz is a guy that you trust in that bullpen. Gordon Graceffo has become a guy that you trust in that bullpen. And so you also have Leahy, you have Maton, and you have Helsley, and maybe Jojo Romero can get back into that circle of trust because he was out of it for a while. So I think the shift of sending some of those guys down and moving Matz back to the bullpen from the 6-man rotation, bringing Graceffo up, I think you made your bullpen much better.
Jamie, you may have already given yours out, but your biggest kudos from last night?
For me, it's Matthew Liberatore. Honestly, it's the wrong way to approach things, but I keep waiting for the collapse, and it isn't there. He looks to me as confident as any pitcher who's been in the rotation for years.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a guy like this just finally discovered how to stay in the rotation.
Carey?
I got to give it to Ali Marmol again. Trusting the bullpen, going with Jojo Romero in that situation. Again, I texted the group. I said, I don't know how this is going to work out. Boom, gets the out, and now we're on to the 9th inning. So for me, trusting, knowing your guys, knowing that Liberatore he was at the end of his rope, knowing that Leahy was at the end of his, he had given up those 2 singles, and trusting Jojo Romero, and then obviously you get Ryan Helsley in the 9th. You know that door is usually going to be closed shut. So I'm going to give it to Ali Marmol.
Marsh?
Biggest kudos goes to Wilson Contreras for his defense. Made a great diving snag to keep that inning from getting out of control. And, of course, he helped me break the beat the streak record.
Set. I mean, you set the new...
I set the record.
You
thanks
set the
to
new
Big
record,
Willie.
and you're still going, too. Yeah, congratulations, Marsh. The new longest streak here in the fast lane for Beat the Streak is Andrew Marsh at 14.
He's the hit king.
And he could keep going. I mean, this kid's locked in right now.
He is, man.
My biggest kudos also goes to Matthew Liberatore, who did not become the storyline because of the way that Leahy came in and shoved for 2 1/3 innings. But I think with the way that Matthew Liberatore has pitched, I wonder if he has jump-started or reshaped the way that we have looked at this Cardinals retool. Because if he can be a top-of-the-rotation guy, whether it's a 1 or a 2, it dramatically impacts the way the Cardinals can maybe speed up this, again, retool, reshift, whatever. Biggest criticism? Got one or no? Hard to criticize after 9 straight.
I'm sorry. Like, anything I would criticize would seem kind of petty
I agree.
at this point.
Yeah, fine. I thought, we talked about Matthew Liberatore giving up 2 runs, and he probably gives up 1 run if Jose Barrero doesn't break backwards instead of go forward, and Schwarber takes third base, ends up scoring. That's probably the only criticism I have.
Barrero, in his defense, hasn't played center field since 2021.
Right. Yeah, and
so that was an odd choice by Ollie for that. Just saying.
And maybe there's something to Citizens Bank Park, because if you noticed on that final out of the game, it looked like Victor Scott also broke back a little bit too before he went forward.
Yeah. Might be the way the ball sounded off the bat.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks off the bat.
Yep. Carey?
I don't have any.
I got one for myself. You guys brought up Wilson Contreras. I didn't think the experiment would work. It has absolutely worked.
Shame on you, Anthony.
Shame on me. I was absolutely dead wrong with my opinion on Wilson Contreras going from catcher to first base. At best, I wondered if it was going to work. At worst, I was very critical of it. So he has looked excellent. Credit Wilson Contreras for switching positions and making it look seamless, and credit the Cardinals for making the move and letting Paul Goldschmidt go. And if you look at the defensive run save metric, Wilson Contreras has been much better than Paul Goldschmidt defensively in that metric. So
that's crazy.
My criticism is for me. I was wrong about that, and I was wrong too about Jordan Walker not making a bigger leap defensively, because he made the play of the game.
He's been really good.
Yeah, defensively last night. If it wasn't Contreras at first base, him putting away the game the way he did, excellent. All right, real quick, what question do you have leading into the next game?
Can the pitching hold up? I mean, the offense seems to be legit. Defensively, they're good. To me, it's always going to be pitching. Pitching's always the question.
Yeah, is it real? I think we are like, sometimes when you're in a relationship and the person says they're going to change, and then they change for a little while, you're like, oh, this is good.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just saying, you know about this.
Screw you.
And then all of a sudden, they go back to their regular ways, and you're like, damn it! You fooled me.
Got me again. Yeah.
I'm the idiot.
Fooled me once.
Shame on you. Fool me twice. Can't
you fool me again. Marsh, you have one?
I think my question is, how does Ollie Marmol start giving other guys at bats? It seems like this lineup in particular has found some rhythm. I like what this lineup presents, but how are you going to start getting other guys at bats and giving some of the players days off? Will that sort of screw things up? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm not sure, but I am interested to see how Ollie approaches that, given what this year has been and what it should be in terms of development. What will that look like now that the team has a 9-game win streak?
And for me, it is whether or not Andrew Marsh can further extend that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I need him to stop.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait,
I'm right behind him.
We'll have to wait, though. Doubleheader tomorrow.
Oh,
game has already been, today's game has already been rained out, according to Katie Wu.
This is the Phillies playing.
Yeah, they're playing games.
They did it on purpose.
They somehow got a rain out, like Bull Durham.
Hey, this team is hot. Slow them down. Throw a little water on the field.
Turn on the sprinklers, Carey?
Yeah. I know about that.
Some doubleheader tomorrow, 12:15 and 5:15 again, according to Katie Wu. I had mentioned Liberatore and whether or not he is reshaping the Cardinals' retool. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, I get questions all the time from people who run into me, whether it's at the grocery store, at the gym, sporting events, and the guys usually quietly pull me aside and say, "Hey, man, does that mentality really work?" You know, and I go, "Yeah." I'm like, "What's going on?" I feel sluggish, and I'm not the same. I'm not the same at home with my wife or my girlfriend. Things aren't working quite the way they should. I go, "Man, get in there. Go see our friends. 2 locations, Chesterfield, South County." They'll do your blood work, and you'll find out exactly what's going on. They'll put you on a program. And my brother coming all the way from Canada, he's going in on Friday to get his blood work done because he's not happy with what things are going on with his caregiver. So he's going to get a mentality, find out what's going on, and get himself on a program as well.
Yeah, it's easy, too. Symptoms of low testosterone, pretty easy if you're a guy. If you're constantly feeling like you don't have energy or you lack motivation, if you're fatigued all the time, you get to a weekend and you're like exhausted and you're like, I don't feel like mowing the lawn. I don't feel like doing this. The kids are asking me to play. And that's not you, right? Like you want to feel better. You will. Because when you go down to Mentality, 2 different locations, Jamie usually goes to the Chesterfield location. I usually go to the South County one, but same people, same great people at both. All you do, sit down with them. They'll ask you a couple of easy questions about how you're feeling. They'll draw your blood. And if you are low in testosterone, which Jamie and I were, they put you on a program, and it's not that long after that you start to feel better. You start to get back into the gym. You don't have that lack of focus or mental clarity. You start to feel like you did 10, 20 years ago. So visit Mentality. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. Or if you want to go to the website and check them out, go to mentalityhealth.com/radio. But get in. Start feeling like you again. Mentality. Matthew Liberatore, strong effort again last night for the Cards, this time against one of the most dangerous offenses in baseball. Do you guys think that the emergence of Liberatore reshapes how we view this Cards retool?
I think it does help. I don't know if it reshapes. I think it speeds it up. To me, it's a little bit comparable to the Blues with Holloway and Broberg.
That's what I was thinking.
Now, that was outside help. Liberatore was obviously from within the organization. But
it's still outside because I don't think nobody saw this coming.
No.
Like, it wasn't outside the organization, but it was outside of like our expectations.
The realm of possibility?
Yes.
Yes.
Totally.
I would totally agree with that. And I think the way it speeds it up is because we looked at the rotation and we projected. We said, okay, you're going to have Sonny Gray, Eric Fetty. Who knows after this year if you still have Fetty. But you've got Palante. You've got McGreevy. You've got Graceffo. Nobody talked about Liberatore, and we kept saying, I need another guy. You have to maybe you get a veteran guy for a year or two. You don't need to now. Now, if your rotation, if you go top to bottom, and Liberatore's in there with McGreevy, I don't know about Graceffo if he ends up being a starter or not. But then what a Quinn Matthews, like all of this stuff, the question marks surrounding your pitching, they're not gone because even when you have a bunch of aces, there's always injuries and things that can happen. Sure. So there's always small question marks around everyone's rotation. But for this team to take those necessary steps to becoming not just contenders for their division, but contenders for the NL pennant, and then furthermore, maybe a World Series contender, you need that solid foundation of pitching that is cost-controlled. Then you can go add a guy, sprinkle a guy, like a Sonny Gray. Like, you've got him, he's your free agent signing. But then if you have Palante, Liberatore, McGreevy, Graceffo, like those are all, like, those are very affordable pitchers, is what I'm saying. And now you've got the young guys that are proving that they can play in the outfield. Jordan Walker still has work to do. But then you can sprinkle in a guy that you want from free agency out there. That's how you go from being, middle of the pack to actually a contender. So I do believe it speeds things up because it's a player that came out of nowhere to be a guy in your rotation now.
What about you, Carey?
I think it has put the Cardinals on the correct timeline. I don't know if it sped it up or I don't think it slowed it down. I think this is the timeline they should have been on a year ago. Like, you could have given Matthew Liberatore these opportunities to start 30 plus games last year. But you gave those opportunities to Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, and Liberatore wasn't ready to do this, though.
Do we? I don't know that we don't. I don't know.
All indications point to where the Cardinals say he went into the offseason with a completely different frame of mind. He put in work. Not to say that he wasn't working before, but he wasn't working.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's maturity.
I think it's because they told him you're going to be a starter. I think
his intentions from the beginning, Carey, were to be a starter.
If you got 5 guys in front of you that are all veterans and they just signed 2 of them, your mindset is not, I'm going to beat those guys out. You just signed 2 of them. One of them is your ace. The other one you traded for last year, and the last one is Steven Matz, who's getting paid $12 million a year. So, and I didn't even add Miles Michaelis. Miles Michaelis is getting $17 million a year. So, if your mindset changed, it's probably because they told you, hey, we're not going to sign anybody. It's your show. Cool. Bet. Let me go. Let me do what I need to do. So I think the mindset changed because the directions changed. The opportunity changed. There was no real opportunity for him to start last year because you had all those guys in front of him.
I also don't think he deserved it. He didn't earn it.
I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, his numbers bear it out.
It might be a combination of the two things. It might be a combination
he couldn't pitch the right-handed hitting at all last year. Like, it was a nightmare.
He did get some starts. So Jamie,
he started what was it,
6
games? Last year he started 6 games. The year before he started 11, and the year before that he started 7. So
I don't think it really clicked until spring training. Why that is, maybe it's a combination of what you're talking about, Carey, which is more the mental side of things, and Jamie, to your point about maybe the maturity of him as a player.
Sometimes as a young player, you know this, Carey, you go into the league thinking this is easy because everything else has been relatively easy for you, and you get to the big leagues, you get to the NFL, you get to the NHL, and it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be. And you're kind of paddling your feet underwater there, not going very far until you can finally get control of your career where you put in the extra work, whether it's, in the gym, nutrition, all this stuff. and then you either become a player or you're not. So I think there's a part of that Matthew Liberatore discovered finally as part of the maturation process.
Yeah, you could say that Libby is the poster child of the be patient.
Oh boy,
catchphrase that Mo likes to throw out there. We had a text from
kind of Leahy too.
Well, yeah,
Leahy. There was a lot of seasoning with Leahy too, and it looked like he was just going to be kind of.
Kyle Leahy didn't get traded for Randy Arozarena.
No, but what I'm saying is it took him a while before. Yeah, there was more emphasis and spotlight on Liberatore because of the profile of the trade. But
we get a text from the 314. Liberatore is currently doing for us what he would have done for another team if we had traded him. Have to applaud the patience this time around.
Certainly. This patience is so far paying off. I do think, though, that it will, if Liberatore continues to pitch this way, and one of those other guys that Jamie mentioned earlier, whether it's Graceffo, McGreevy, Tink Hence, or Quinn Matthews, if one of those other guys also emerge as a stud, I do think the retool gets sped up dramatically. We're talking about pitching, which is from A to B, that's your straight line. Mm-hmm. If you want to go from A to B, and where the Cardinals are right now, in a retool, reset, whatever, to being a contender again, the shortest distance between those two is having a strong starting pitching staff. So I think that this timeline, again, will get sped up, provided that Liberatore isn't a flash in the pan to start the season. If he is a legit, let's just say he's a legit number 2 in your rotation, and one of these other guys, these young guys, also emerge. This starting rotation could turn around in a heartbeat. And it's already pitching well. I'm just saying for the future. The things get sped up when you got a good young starting pitching staff.
The Cardinals don't have a good young starting pitching staff just
which
yet.
is why I'm saying they're pitching well right now with what they have. If another young guy emerges,
you're good to go.
You can speed this thing up.
Yeah.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We've got JR's grades.
Oh, Jamie.
Got the grades for the forwards. We talked to JR yesterday, and Jamie announced that he will be ripping them apart.
He did.
I didn't announce
Before he
that.
even saw him.
Before he even saw him.
JR said it. He said, I got my grades coming up. Jamie's going to hate him.
Yep.
You didn't even see him. You just know you're going to hate him.
I didn't.
You did. He knew that you were going to hate him.
Every year there's just a couple that I have.
Every year you rip his grades apart.
No, it's not true. It's not true.
This year you even threw up, knowing that they were going to come out soon.
You did. You threw up a little bit right before we got on air.
Yep. So Jamie will rip those apart next on 101 ESPN.
Oh, well.
Hey, it's Carey Davis for Scrap Mart Metals, and if you're a contractor or you own a business that need recycling and you don't know about Scrap Mart Metals, let me tell you about them. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and budget. They understand the job site cleanup for contractors is often a mess, but if you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, It'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how the scrap metals add up and how it can help your business's cash flow. If you're a plumber, heating and cooling, an excavator, or any type of contractor, Scrap Mart Metals can make recycling easy and make your job easier. If you own heavy equipment, it breaks down time and time again. It gets frustrating. You have to repair it over and over again. At some point, it's going to come time to end your suffering, and Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. Yes, they will haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. If you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. Copper, wire, stainless steel, aluminum batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron. It is recycling made easy. Just visit them today at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. Again, that's scrapmartmetals.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals extend their winning streak to 9 games. They defeat the Phillies last night by a final score of 3-2. Tonight's game has been postponed. We'll have a doubleheader tomorrow. 12:05 is first pitch for the first game, and then 5:15 will be the first pitch for the second game. We'll continue talking about your St. Louis Cardinals as they stay red hot, but we're going to switch gears and talk about the Blues. Jeremy Rutherford came out with his grades this season for the forward group, and we'll see if Jamie loves them or hates them. That's next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
You won't find anybody more critical of Jeremy Rutherford's work than our very own Jamie Rivers.
That is not true. I love JR. He does amazing work for the Athletic.
Especially when it comes to grades, season grades.
Jamie hates report cards.
Yeah, you know what? I think we all do.
Thing. Goes back to when Karen was unable to actually do his work one day.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I left to go play hockey.
Yeah. It's like,
can Karen come too? Why? Is she your girlfriend? No, just she's
helpful.
Big part of my success.
Everything I do.
So the Blues report card is out for the forwards. Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic or Blues Insider. From Zach Bolduc to Robert Thomas to Nathan Walker. I don't know if you want to go player by player necessarily, Jamie.
That might take a while.
That could take a while. But why don't we start off with the top grade, and we'll work from there.
Yeah.
The top grade given out by JR this season, the only,
there's two of them.
Yeah, there's two of them. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The A+ group, one is Dylan Holloway, and the other A+ went out to
Walker.
Nathan Walker.
Yeah.
There's a handful of A's, but those were the two guys that got the A+. Any issues with Holloway and Walker receiving the A+?
No, none at all. I mean, Dylan Holloway maybe didn't exceed his own expectations or what Army had for expectations, but he certainly exceeded everybody else's expectations. You thought you're getting maybe a 15 to 20 goal scorer, good future for this kid, great hockey build, good speed, What you got is what I would say a star that is rising. I mean, this kid is electric, is super skilled, great hockey IQ, great shot, powerful, physical, just everything you want in a player in the NHL. So A+ was easy for me to agree with JR on that. Nathan Walker, I agree 100%. He set the record for hits in a season by a Blues player. Didn't even play every game. He was in and out of the lineup under Drew Bannister. Wasn't even supposed to be a part of it. And then him playing the way he did alongside Fox and Toropchenko, that line was a nightmare for teams to play against. They were instrumental in the success of the team in the last quarter of the season. And that's kind of where I want to go. Before we go anywhere else with the grades, for me, JR graded for the season, which that's the purpose of the assignment.
Right.
I look at it as there was 4 parts to the season for this Blues team. The first part is under Drew Bannister. How did guys perform under Drew Bannister? So Pavel Buchnevich really, to me, was the one who suffered the most under Drew Bannister because he was playing center,
right.
A position he didn't want to play, a position he wasn't comfortable with, no good in the face-off circle, and he wouldn't mind me saying that because he even said one time to me, he goes, sometimes I think I take face-off with no blade on my stick. So under Drew Bannister, then the next part is right after Monty takes over. What happens to these guys? How did they play? Mm-hmm. After 4 Nations, and then playoffs. Mm-hmm. So those are the four periods or the 4 categories that I would say you would grade these players on. Now, JR again did the whole season, so and I think he did a good job. You guys like to give to me. And JR said I criticize, and I don't criticize. Sometimes I have issues with certain grades of certain players. I can honestly say, I don't think I have an issue with one grade that he gave out to this team. The only one that I say he could probably bumped it up was Toropchenko. He gave him a B+, and I know why. He had a massive dry spell of where he didn't score any goals. And, even though you're an energy type player, a hitter, a checker, you still have to try and contribute offensively.
Sure.
But he gave him a B+. It's a good grade for a guy who barely scored goals this year.
Right.
So I think, he had Snuggerud at an A, Thomas at an A. Robert Thomas, to me, is a tale of 2 different seasons, maybe 3. Go ahead.
Can I add to that? I think Robert Thomas receiving an A is pretty remarkable given the fact that he suffered the injury. He was slow to come back, and there was a lot of frustration surrounding Robert Thomas. Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of overlook.
He had the body language thing.
Exactly. I'm talking about frustration that he showed on the ice. And we all wondered, man, is he ever going to snap out of it? Not only did he snap out of it following a 4 Nations tournament, he was every bit of the player that he has been in the past, if not more. So I think the fact that Robert Thomas got an A, it shows how much JR and all of us should respect Robert Thomas's game following the 4 Nations tournament.
Well, and let's not overlook, too, that it even could have bordered on an A+, to be honest, because he only ended up playing 70 games. but put up 81 points.
Wow.
So if you multiply that, 82 games, you're probably looking at between 95 and 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Thomas is a 100-point player. With the season that he had, it's astonishing. So I think Robert Thomas turned his season around completely, and the fact that he did is helped turn the Blues season around overall. He's one of many that helped turn it around. And the one I think people are going to probably go to and be like, well, I don't know about this one, is Braden Shen at A-. If you're looking at just his point totals, you'd say A-, maybe a B, Second line center, he only had 50 points in 82 games, didn't get to 20 goals. But what Braden Shen brought to the table this year was way more than goals and assists. He was the catalyst behind the turnaround of this team following the Four Nations.
Yeah.
Right up at the trade deadline where, Braden Shen made it clear to the media, to everybody in St. Louis, he didn't want to leave St. Louis. What happened between him and Army? I don't know. Don't even know if they talked about it. But I do know that Braden Shen made it clear to everybody else who was listening, he wants to be a St. Louis Blue. And following that break, he came back with a different attitude. He was a leader of men at that point, and the team followed what he was selling. So the A- for me, if someone has a problem with that, it's way deeper, much more than just points.
Sure. The A+ group again: Holloway and Walker, A's, Radek Faksa, Snuggerud, Thomas, A-, Bolduc, Shen, and Kyrou. B+ went to Torpo, as Jamie pointed out. The B's went to Dvorsky and Neighbors, which I think are both fair.
Yep.
B- went to Oscar Sundquist. Then you drop down C for Buchnevich, which, again, I think is fair. How much of that had to do with Drew Bannister, needing a center and putting Buch there and kind of starting the season off a little slow? I don't know, but again, I think C for Buch is fair. C- went to Matthew Joseph. The D+ went to Texier, and then the F went to Brandon Saad, which, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and I don't even think Saad was an F, to be honest. He was not great, but he wasn't a failure. He was a D player.
Sure.
Maybe D+. Put him the same as Texier because they both did about the same.
Right.
And Texier, look, he's got a lot to prove moving forward. He got pushed out of the lineup by other guys, Bolduc being the first one, and then Matthew Joseph being the second one, because he wasn't able to produce and play at a high level on a consistent basis and stay healthy, for that matter.
Yeah.
So it sucks he gets a D+ because it's almost like the grade almost was like it's unavailable because he didn't really play that much.
Incomplete.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So that was Jeremy Rutherford's forwards report card, and if you want to check that out, just go to The Athletic. And again, Blues report card, final forward grades from Zach Bolduc to Robert Thomas to Nathan Walker, written by our very own Jeremy Rutherford. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Did the NBA draft lottery set some franchises back this spring when it comes to a competition standpoint? I think that this isn't just an NBA topic. It can expand into other sports as well. That's next on 101 ESPN.
The Utah Jazz got the 5th pick last night. That means that the team with the worst record has now not selected first overall in 7 straight seasons, coinciding with the start of the new lottery format.
It's ridiculous.
Incentivizing losing is the worst mistake any sport can possibly make, any sports league can make. And as a result, I think it is great news. People saying, oh, this isn't working because the worst teams aren't getting the pick. Shut up. That's exactly the wrong way to look at it.
I'm about to lose my right now.
I would absolutely be in favor of the NFL going to some sort of draft lottery so you stop with the tanking, which is the worst thing in sports.
All right, so that was Mike Greenberg, as well as some of our favorites here, Lisa and, of course, Janet. But that was Mike Greenberg on Get Up. Carey, do you agree with Greeny when it comes to the NBA lottery system maybe not being the best way to set up teams in a cap sport?
I think tanking is terrible, and we talked about it in the office. It's not the players not playing hard. It's generally the front office finding ways to not put the best players or field the best roster. So that's what tanking is. You would never get 53 men on a football team or 25, 26 men on a baseball roster, whatever, hockey, basketball, 12 to 15 guys in the NBA to say, yeah, we're going to lose. They're way too competitive to do that. That's not happening. That's not what tanking is. Tanking comes from the front office. It's not fielding a team that's good enough to win games. And the fact that they're not being rewarded for that. Now, I don't know if the Jazz were tanking or if they just stink. I think there's a fine line at times trying to decide whether or not a team is just terrible or whether or not they are actually actively trying to lose games by not fielding the best roster. But I do agree that if you are tanking, which has taken place in past times where teams have essentially tried to field a team that's not good enough, you shouldn't be rewarded for that. You shouldn't be rewarded with the best player in college or whatever league you're drafting from, because you intentionally tried to lose games. So, yeah, I am in favor of that. And if the NFL went to that format, you might see some teams get the first pick that normally never get in that top 5, top 3, because they are always essentially playoff teams. I'm thinking about my Pittsburgh Steelers. They would be nice if they could get a first overall pick because they're not going to lose enough games to ever fall in that spot.
So I don't know if this would work with the NFL because of the amount of games that they already play and whatnot, but I've been saying for years when it comes to the NHL, Major League Baseball, the NBA in particular, all of those together, 3 of them, the bottom 4 teams. So if you've got your playoffs that start on, let's say, May 1st, just making up a date for the NHL and for the NBA. Mm-hmm. You've got your playoffs that start. Everybody loves NHL playoff hockey, right? And the league's about revenue as well. So you have your regular playoff format, and then the bottom 4 teams in the league would play in a separate playoff that would be called the draft playoff. And each team, let's say it's 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 as far as the standings go, or you do a 2 out of 3 and then a winner take all, whatever it is. The winner of that little 4-team tournament gets the first overall pick. Second place, third place, fourth place, all that stuff. So now what you've done is you've actually created a competitive environment for your bottom 4 teams. Mm-hmm. So the last place team, that's San Jose this year, maybe at the deadline they trade for somebody pretty good, because they know they're going to be headed into this tournament, and they want to get the first overall pick, and they don't want to rely upon the draft lottery. They want to be able to earn it themselves. Yeah. And then from a NHL standpoint, I can still fill the buildings in Philly, Nashville, Chicago, San Jose, and get it on TV and advertising surrounding the draft playoff, which is going at the same time as the NHL playoff. Yeah. And then your winner takes all.
It's not a crazy idea.
I would love
to see that.
I think it would work in those. I don't think it would work in football.
Well, maybe it's the bottom 4 teams they play.
The reason why I don't think it will work in football, the first overall pick is a quarterback. I'm the quarterback of the team. You think I'm trying to win them damn games so that I can have my job taken? Like, honestly. Like, if we're...
I don't know, Carey. if you're the quarterback of the worst
I'm the
team,
starting
are you
quarterback-
still going to be the quarterback the next year?
Yeah, if you don't get the first overall pick.
I don't know.
Yeah, you better damn believe it.
All right.
I mean, from a revenue standpoint and eyeballs on the screen or the product, I don't hate it, Jamie. I don't hate it at all.
I think it would be exciting.
But I don't think what I'm saying is you're probably not going to win
What
that
you're saying
game.
is football players don't care.
No, what I'm saying is you're probably not going to win that series because the quarterback ain't gonna. He might have an injury. He might not be able
Well,
to.
okay, so then it doesn't work for football.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's what I said. That I said.
Fine.
I think.
Fine, Carey, you win. Okay, you
I
broke me.
literally said
You
I
did,
think
but,
it's great
hey,
for the other sports. I don't think it will work for football.
Well, you led with, I don't think it'll work with football. So
I said that, right?
you did.
Okay.
And I think that's where the feelings may have been found.
Okay, so we're so he's not angry. So anger is a secondary emotion. So I hurt your feelings.
It depends who you are.
That's what I was told. I've been taught that. It is a secondary emotion. It normally starts with you're hurt, somebody hurts you, and then you get angry.
Yeah.
Like it's not, oh, I'm mad. No, somebody did something or said something. And
What
now
if I just don't like
You heard 'em.
people's comments?
I hurt your feelings. You did. I hurt your feelings.
No, maybe,
Yeah.
What if I just
It's
thought
okay.
it was a bad comment?
No.
I think it didn't hurt my feelings. I just thought maybe it was dumb.
You thought it was dumb. Okay.
So you reacted that way because you thought it was dumb.
So now he's attacking me.
Marshy, what do you think?
Well, the reason why we're talking about this is because the Mavericks had a 1.8% chance of winning the top pick. They trade their star player in Luka to the LA Lakers, and somehow, some way, they end up getting the number
that's
one
pretty damn
pick.
amazing.
Like, they were outside of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
This is like when
is-
the Blackhawks got the first
Well,
pick.
it's literally just happened when the NHL, the Islanders,
Yes.
now have the top pick. No one cares about them, though. But
Whoa.
The
People
thing-
of Long Island love the Islanders.
here's the thing.
Did you play for the Islanders?
I did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You know.
I had a good time there.
If you thought the NBA draft lottery was rigged before, it absolutely is now.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at this. In 2011, Chris Paul traded to LA. Guess who got the number one pick that following summer? Well, it was New Orleans. Anthony Davis traded to LA in 2019. New Orleans gets the next pick. And then Luka traded to LA. Mavericks get the number one pick. How about Derrick Rose, Chicago guy? Well, it just so happens that the Bulls magically had the number one pick. How about Cleveland getting the number one pick when LeBron was,
And how about the Pittsburgh Penguins way back when? Their
See the kid?
franchise was on the verge of folding. And then they had Mario Lemieux, by the way, Yager, a lot of guys. And all of a sudden, the Penguins win the lottery, and Sidney Crosby's going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Of course, Chicago as well with Bedard.
Connor Bedard. Which nobody can
It's interesting
right now.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting
Calm
that
down, that kid.
the lottery, how it ends up, like even Victor Wembanyama going to the Spurs last year.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy how
But why? Okay,
because the Spurs are the Spurs are that franchise. Like they are that franchise. Like they are known. They have done a great job. They have a history, especially with foreign players, Ginobili,
Yeah.
Tony
Tony
Parker.
Parker.
Like you've had players there, and they have that's not a bad place to
is he
send
the new Tim Duncan?
correct. You know what I mean? Like it's
well,
kind of
Marsh,
weird.
you know who I blame for all this?
Ollie Marmol.
You.
Oh, wow.
Because you love storylines.
I do love storylines.
And the NBA and the NHL is selling its product.
At that
through
time, though.
storylines.
At that time, we were wondering, how did this trade go through? This makes no sense. It felt like the Mavs were getting screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that something's happening. Maybe
you
I
kinda
am.
are.
I kind
You
of
kinda
am.
are.
But, hey, get rid of your guy. We'll give you the number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's
kind of
You
amazing.
can get another, star
already-
player in Cooper Flag. He'll be the number one pick.
I've already worked out a 3-team trade.
And you know what? By the way, now Giannis could sign with you or trade.
I've worked out a 3-team trade.
What's your trade?
Giannis to the Warriors, Jimmy Butler and Kuminga to the Mavs. First overall pick, Cooper Flag goes to Milwaukee.
I think that's bad for the NBA. You need to put that guy in a good market, right? Oh wait, Dallas is a good market.
Nah, they don't need him. You know what they need? They need to win now. They need Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga, guys that can play, athleticism. Kuminga is a superior athlete. They got the point guard coming back. You think those two guys, along with that is a championship roster. Giannis, I'm just trying to get Giannis to Golden State. And then Cooper Flagg, you got the number one pick. The Bucks aren't going to trade Giannis without getting something in return. Give him the number one pick. Just saying.
Well, if that happens, NBA's crooked.
Nah, we already know that. They did a whole documentary about it.
There.
Yep.
Don't even get me started on the NFL, Anthony. They're not even a sports league. They're an entertainment league.
That's the old XFL.
No, look it up in their mission statement.
Yeah.
Well, they're sports entertainment.
Yeah. So is the WWE, Anthony.
Marsh, why are you so negative today?
I'm not negative.
Cranky.
I'm not negative.
From the moment he walked
Cardinals
in,
won 9 straight.
They're not playing today.
I'm not mad at the Cardinals at all.
You know
Plus,
what?
you got your streak.
I do have my streak. This
One-word
is what happens
answers
with the NBA.
from Marshy today. He walked in. I was sitting at the desk. I was talking to him. One-word answers.
Really?
Then I had a suggestion about something, and he got all pissy with me.
That is not true.
Marshy, did you or did you not?
No, you made me look like I was getting
I can't
upset.
make you look anyway.
Ooh. This is what happens when I get fired up about the NBA. I'm like, Jamie, I don't really care for the NBA. You guys. And it's stuff like this that makes me think that they're a joke.
So why did the NFL take a straight bullet?
Because the NFL has some of their own issues.
The NFL is great.
It is great.
Your
It's
Vikings
great
are playing two games.
A Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
Yeah, Carey.
Yeah.
Glad you brought that up.
The Cardinals will not play today. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. The game has already been rained out. Chemistry versus strategy. Or is it chemistry and strategy that has led the way for the Cardinals? Some interesting comments made by Mason Wynn last night on strategy, and some interesting comments made by Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras when it comes to chemistry. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Well, anybody that has purchased a home, Jamie, knows that there is power in the pre-approval letter.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody that can get that done for you is our guy Stewie's on the line right now. Stewie, no better person to talk to about the power of the pre-approval letter than you.
You know, Anthony, sellers and seller agents, when they get a pre-approval letter, the first thing that they ask is, where is that letter from? And most real estate agents and sellers shy away from national companies, somebody who isn't local. So, number one, make sure you get that pre-approval letter from someone local. Now, for us, we give you the opportunity to generate your own pre-approval letter anytime you want. We'll approve you for the maximum you can afford, and then you can go in and edit that pre-approval letter. This means you can get a pre-approval letter and submit it for the amount you want to bid right there. And then if you get a counteroffer, you can go in and change it. No waiting for the loan officer, no chasing them down, no getting a pre-approval letter for more or less than what you're going to offer. It's all in your hands. You can do it that way. You can get it done quickly. You'll get the house of your dreams. And everybody here in St. Louis knows us, so they know the credibility. They'll get your deal done, and you'll get the house of your dreams.
Yeah, I know this because I went through it with Stewie. When purchasing my home, they always want the pre-approval letter. And Stewie, I was approved to the maximum amount, and then he sent a pre-approval letter to my realtor so she could just put in whatever was needed for the home, and it worked out like a charm. So please, if you're having trouble with pre-approval letters or you're unsure, call our guy Stewie. He'll walk you through it, and it really is easy when you have Stewie in your corner. So call him at 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
If you can't remember that number, you're driving, can't write it down, it's pretty easy. Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
A great go Cards.
NMLS number 226715.
Interesting news out of Major League Baseball coming up the bottom of the hour and what's trending. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 306. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I thought it was interesting looking at or listening to Mason Wynn's approach when it came to hitting his home run last night. Matt Strahm had not given up a home run yet this season. The Phillies reliever has been outstanding. But when Mason Wynn stepped in last night, he had anticipated that he was going to get a high fastball from Strahm after watching a previous at bat. I think it was Barrero that he was watching, and Wynn noted that the ball likely wouldn't have cleared Busch Stadium, but it flew out of Philadelphia. The bottom line is he put a good swing and a good pitch because he had an approach, and I was. We've heard Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras talk recently about how the vibe around this current Cardinals team is a lot different than it has been in previous years, indicating that there's some good chemistry going on. I don't think it's chemistry. It's not necessarily chemistry versus strategy, but I do think we get caught up too much in looking at the strategy of a team as they prepare for a game or Major League Baseball. We're talking about the strategy of a young player. I think you need to have that chemistry first when it comes with the team, knowing that if it's an offensive line, Carey, that chemistry is going to be there. Then you can work on the strategy. But I think there's a reason why you have, head coaches that are trying to build continuity and chemistry and all of that early on in spring training or training camp or whatever, because if you don't have that, it's really hard to work on a strategy for a team that, quite frankly, either doesn't believe in itself or doesn't believe in their teammates.
Do you think that chemistry, and because I think baseball is an individual sport disguised as a team sport. Like, you individually face that pitcher. You don't. It's not like an offensive line facing the defensive line and facing the linebackers. It's an individual matchup. Do you think that chemistry is extremely important in baseball in comparison to basketball, hockey, football?
Chemistry?
Yeah.
I do, because it's 162 games. Okay. And I think you would tire. I think you get real tired of. I think there'd be cliques that would form. Mm-hmm. I think cliques are easy to form in any sport, but over 162 games, man, if you hate your teammates,
right?
while there are exceptions to every rule, there's been some teams that have won before that have, seemingly hated each other. I think there's more examples of the 2000, hate to bring them up, but the 2004 Boston Red Sox where they had that, that
idiots.
the idiots.
The idiots.
Yes.
That came together. There's the Giants in 2010 with a band of misfits. I mean, there's the Blues. That chemistry was apparent through Play Gloria in 2019. I think that has to come first. But you guys have been in actual professional locker room, so you would know better than I would.
Yeah, I think the main thing is good chemistry promotes good culture, which ultimately leads to a team playing a lot harder for each other. Does it lead to wins and championships? Not necessarily. Because I played on some teams that had unbelievable chemistry, worked hard, everything. The culture was great. We just weren't good enough. And that it just happens that way.
Yeah.
So, but listen, there's something to be said, especially, Carey, football's a different animal because you don't play as many games. However, the season is equally as long. So there's a lot. For me, for hockey and baseball in particular, the seasons are so long that if you don't have the chemistry on your team, it'll wear you out. Hockey, same thing. Whereas football, I feel like it's on the same level. I don't care about how many games you play. You guys are with each other so many days, so many hours per day in the film room, practicing, lifting. If you're not getting along with your teammate or at least somebody on the offensive side of the ball, because the defensive side of the ball, sometimes those guys don't really interact as much. Carey obviously can speak to that way more than I can. But when you're around people more than you're around your own family, you better have good chemistry. Because ultimately, even if you're a really great team, if that chemistry sucks, it's going to catch up to the team at some point.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And I was just asking that about baseball because I wonder if that matters how much. But I think the chemistry allows you to have better strategies because now you have a chemistry. You guys get along. You can bounce ideas off of each other. You can talk to your teammate and say, hey, what did you see in your at-bat? Or what did you think about my last at-bat? Or whatever the case may be. And I think good teams do have great chemistry. I played on teams where guys, it was weird. It was cliques. It was this guy makes $20-30 million and this guy is a free agent, or this guy is a practice squad guy, or this guy is the 53rd man on the roster.
And you felt that.
Oh yeah, you could tell.
How'd you guys do?
Nah, not great. Yeah, it's not a recipe for success. I think the great teams, and even though you, like you said, Jamie, you could be a great team and have all of the great chemistry, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win a championship. Because there could be a greater team with greater chemistry or just greater dudes. You could just run into a buzzsaw. But it does, I do think that is the recipe for success. You have to have great chemistry. You have to have coaches that put you in the right places. And you got to have dudes. You got to have guys. At the end of, I should probably say you should have dudes first. Because that's if you got some of them guys, you can probably lack on the chemistry and the strategy a little bit.
It's true. It's true. But even that gets old at some point.
But if you got a few of them guys, it makes life easier. Yeah. But then when you do have those guys and you have the chemistry and the strategy, everything is all tied in together.
Cardinals won't play today. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. The game has already been rained out. So, Katie, we mentioned that they'll play at 12:15 and 5:15 tomorrow. So, no Cardinals game tonight, but they did win their 9th straight game last night, 3-2 victory over the Phillies to open up that series. They are currently on MLB's longest winning streak of the 2025 season. We talked in great length about the game last night, but there's some other things that we'll get to throughout the course of the show today. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How important is it to win when you have a healthy roster? Well, some teams going through the playoffs right now could tell you that it's vital. That's next on 101 ESPN. Underdog is the best place to play when it comes to the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball daily. Underdog, though, they've got their extender program throughout the NBA playoffs. So you just apply a boost token in game one, and then each game the series takes place, you could boost for for bigger payouts. Underdog is the place to make your picks to play basketball, and it's easy to play underdog. So you might as well get paid for your hunches. Whether you think that a player is going to go higher or lower on their stats, that's up to you. But you can play different sports. You can have an NBA player in one game, an NHL player in another, and then include a starting pitcher for a Major League Baseball matchup. It's really up to you how you want to play. But Underdog Fantasy, that they've got the best payouts. You can also play for as little as $1 and win up to 1,000 times your money. So download the Underdog app, sign up with my promo code Anthony to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, that's promo code Anthony at Underdog Fantasy. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. Last night on 101 ESPN, boys, I feel for local product Jason Tatum. That did not look good last night. Looked like he tore his Achilles, and it looks like it's going to be a long recovery for Jason Tatum. It's sad, man. He had 42 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 3-pointers against the Knicks. Game 4 on Monday. Went down with a non-contact lower body injury in the final minutes of the game. Again, it looks like, for all intents and purposes, like it's going to be a torn Achilles. But Carey, this sparked your thought process on not only the NBA playoffs, but the NHL playoffs and some of the key players being hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, we start locally here with Dylan Holloway. If Dylan Holloway is available for that series versus the Winnipeg Jets, you probably win in 6. Like, you probably don't even make it to a Game 7, maybe 5. I mean, the the Blues were a team that was rolling. He was one of your better players, and he missed the entire playoffs, missed the last 5 regular season games going into the playoffs. And so you're looking at that and thinking, man, if he'd have been healthy, what could have taken place? I'm obviously a Golden State Warriors fan. Steph Curry hurts his hamstring in Game 1. They win Game 1, and then they've lost 3 straight. He hasn't played. The Donovan Mitchell, another guy, goes down. Marcy was watching the game in the office, and he said, what the hell? They were losing by 40. The Cleveland Cavaliers were. And then so last night, Jason Tatum, which I am almost 100% certain that it's a torn Achilles, just based on how he pushed off his right leg, tried to go forward, immediately fell, kind of looked back. Those are usually the symptoms of a torn Achilles. I watched one of my friends tear his Achilles while we were working out, made a loudest sound, looked back like, who kicked me? Yeah. And his foot just wouldn't go up or down no more. It was Mike Young. So I watched Mike tear his Achilles while we were working out one time. But, yeah, so just the injuries and how critical they are, especially to star players or your star player, it just changes the mindset and the entire series. It shifts from one side to the other. It's a drastic change. In that game last night, the Knicks, I don't know, it was a really close game. Jason Tatum had 42 points when he got injured, and you just felt the air leave the building because they were in New York. It didn't leave the building for the Knicks, right, but it left the building for Boston. Just watching him. And then even then, you know, one of the better players in basketball going down with that injury, you're like, oh, man, that's terrible. Sucks for him. Man, we're going to win this game. But, yeah, just how do you – that's why I feel like it's so important every year. You can never say, oh, next year's our year, because you don't know. You're one injury away, a Dylan Holloway injury, undisclosed, lower body. We still don't know what the hell it is. Injury, Jamie, from not being able –
It'll be okay for training camp.
All right. Well, that's great for next year. But for this year – it leaves you wondering. So I feel like every time you have an opportunity, you make it into the playoffs, you almost have to capitalize on maximizing the most out of that particular roster because it will not be the same the following year, and you don't know if anybody's going to get injured.
And the good thing the Celtics did a year ago when they won the NBA championship, because like you just said, with Jason Tatum going down, I don't think they get out of this series against the Knicks. It's gonna be difficult. I mean, you can say next man up all you want, but when you lose Jason Tatum,
you can't say
there is no next man up. There's no amount of depth. Like
next superstar up.
Oh, right. We're out of those.
I don't know if it was Jimmy Johnson or Bill Parcells that said depth is great until you need it.
Yeah,
you know, and he's right. Whatever legendary coach said it, they're right. I mean, there's not anything you can do when you lose a Jason Tatum. If you lose even a Dylan Holloway for what he meant to the Blues this season. Now, the Blues gave it hell. They forced a Game 7, should have won the game, but as we talked about before, I don't know if they're getting past Dallas in round 2 without Holloway.
It's tough, tough to tell. But again, it goes along with not having the next man up, the next superstar up. It just goes to show you that every time a team wins a championship in whatever league it is, it's not just because they played better or had the best players. There is luck involved. There's health involved. Like all of those things, which is why it's so astonishing that you had the Florida Panthers go to Stanley Cup final 2 years ago. Then they go again last year and win it. And now here they are again in a great series with the Leafs. I think they're going to win the series, but for me, I have them going back to the Stanley Cup final. That's incredible because all of those things that we talked about, whether it's the puck luck, player health, all the balances, but to have something stay positive for you for so long is really incredible because most teams don't have that opportunity.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, again, the injuries are – you never know when the injury bug is going to bite you. You hope that it's not to your star player. Because I think the Warriors had a clear path to make it to the Western Conference Finals, whether they played OKC or Denver. That's neither here nor there. But that first game, they were rolling, and Steph gets hurt, and you're like, oh, no. And then you're like, he'll be reevaluated in a week. Oh, no. That's even worse.
That could be the series.
The series might be over. If they don't win tomorrow night and it's looking like he's not going to play, they're probably done for this year. And this is a team that once they added a great player like Jimmy Butler was on the path to potentially winning a championship. And now in a blink of an eye, that's done. Same thing with the Boston Celtics. In literally one play, your season goes from, man, we could win this game, potentially win this series, and be back to the NBA Finals to, yeah, we're probably not going to make it out of this second round. And so, for me, just the injuries and how hard it is to stay healthy, for an entire season plus the playoffs is an extremely important thing.
I think this has been kind of a rough playoffs for the NBA when it comes to attracting the casual fan. Now that Jason Tatum is out for Boston, your defending champions, likely to be eliminated. Marsh, you had made the comment about, boy, the NBA better hope that the Knicks get in. Yeah. Because if it's the Pacers, and taking nothing away from the team, the Pacers, just from a marketability standpoint, if you don't have the Knicks, man, and it winds up being Indiana and, I don't know, OKC.
This ain't your 90s Pacers with Reggie Miller.
No. I wonder what the draw is.
Right.
Pacers,
for the NBA playoffs.
Timberwolves.
I love Anthony Edwards, but I don't think the Minnesota Twins are doing it for a national standpoint.
I don't think the Twins are either. The Timberwolves.
Did I say the Twins?
Yeah.
My bad, the Timberwolves. That's how insignificant it is.
Hey, they both start with the T.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
And they're both winning games right now.
They certainly are.
Yeah, my buddies, they text me the other day. They go, hey, what's going on with the Twins and the Cardinals? I was like, well, I know the Cardinals are doing well. You're telling me the Twins are playing good baseball?
They've got a winning record. The Twins have a winning record now.
They do.
In Major League Baseball.
They've won 8 in a row.
They're like the Cardinals.
And Carey, you were putting down the Twins.
Yeah, they stunk to start the season.
Not anymore.
Are they over 500?
They're 21-20.
Oh, congratulations.
Yep.
That's awesome.
They have a run differential of plus 19.
They third in their division?
Fourth.
Oh, man.
They're fourth.
I think
Tigers,
it's
Guardians, Royals, Twins.
I think it's safe to say whoever wins that OKC-Denver matchup is more than likely going to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
Based on the curse that is
the Minnesota
sports.
Well, the Nuggets, to me, have the best player in basketball. And they actually fired their coach. Their head coach has more playoff wins right now than he has regular season wins, which is absolutely absurd.
Good thing you got rid of him. He was the problem.
Clearly.
All right, what's trending is next. Again, some interesting news coming in from Major League Baseball that Marshall will share next here on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey Davis, and if you haven't heard yet, then you need to know about Genesis of St. Charles. They are Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. You stop in today for exclusive in-store offers. They have a large selection of new Genesis models in stock, ready for you to take home today. If you've never driven one, go by and check it out. The cars are beautiful, the drive is wonderful, and they have massaging seats in some of them. You can ride in that vehicle for 20, 30 miles, get your lower lumbar worked on while you're driving from Creve Coeur to Chesterfield. You can enjoy the ride. They have a luxury service at their brand new facility located right off of Mid Rivers Mall and Highway 70. If you don't see the model you want or the color you want, they can find it for you and help you build your dream Genesis. Or you can go online. If you're busy, you have a lot to do. Your schedule is so busy you can't get in. You never have to step foot in their store. You can buy your new Genesis entirely online with clear upfront pricing, including your trade, and even have it delivered up to 100 miles from the dealership. Visit them today at genesisofstcharles.com. Again, that's genesisofstcharles.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals defeat the Phillies last night by a final score of 3-2. They extend their win streak to 9 games. They were supposed to play today. However, that game has been postponed due to inclement weather, and we'll get a doubleheader tomorrow. First game will be at 12:05, and the second game of tomorrow's doubleheader will be at 5:15. We are going to talk with Joe Vitale at 3:45, but coming up next, we have what's trending and some interesting news coming out of Major League Baseball. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
What are the hot topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, big news from Don Van Natta Jr. Kind of a cool name, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. One of the
Andrew.
coolest.
Yeah, okay, anyways.
Never.
Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanent ineligible list. Manfred ruled that Major League Baseball's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. They are now presumably eligible for election into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Boy, way to go on and live in there, Rob. Wait till they're dead and then make it okay.
Couldn't say it better. Like, what the hell?
Better late than never.
When did Pete Rose die? About a year ago?
Yeah.
So you couldn't have done this 2 years ago?
No.
I mean, you could have.
So what's the difference, Carey?
I don't think he wanted to.
I
don't think he wanted
that's the
to
problem
have
with that.
I don't think he wanted to have the conversations, I don't know, you were still going to have people that were critical of him making that decision. They're not going to be as critical now because he's no longer
dead.
here. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we're complaining about Pete. Shoeless Joe, that was 1919.
I know.
That's very true. So to our points, it's even worse.
It's way worse.
Yeah, well.
I just think it's stupid.
So gambling is a thing now in sports. We got
You really can't gamble on your own games anymore.
No, you can't do that.
No, which
But
is
it's-
why I think that I get your idea, Carey. If what you're about to say, I'm assuming is like, hey, since betting is now implemented in mainstream everything, like, okay, why don't you open up the door? But I actually go the opposite way and say the most important thing now that a lot of these teams are getting in bed with betting companies is preserving preserving that no players and coaches bet on the game.
So you don't think he should be allowed at all? Talking about Pete Rose. So you say it shouldn't. He shouldn't even open this door now.
What I'm saying is, even though I understand the idea that there might be a double standard, that these teams are using the advertising dollars of these sports books, so why not allow, Pete Rose or whoever in? But I actually think it drives the point home more that you have to preserve that these games are on the up and up. So don't do it.
So somebody writes in here that they're like, read into it more. It says that Pete Rose had a lifetime ban. That ban ends when his life ends.
Lifetime.
Yeah. Okay, but Shoeless Joe's been gone a while.
Is that right?
He hadn't got around to it, Anthony.
It's been on his desk.
Well, you know why? It's because he's still around. He's playing down in Dyersville.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. He's still playing, technically.
Yes. He's having a catch.
He's having a catch. He's right.
He's hanging out with all the other players in the cornfield.
We all saw the documentary.
I just think that this could have happened a couple of years ago. And, I understand that baseball probably didn't want the publicity or the attention or the questions, but I just think it could have happened before he was dead.
I do understand it, though. Like, you did something that was a huge no-no, and that is your...
but never been against this team.
That's the repercussions of it.
That we know.
Those are the repercussions, right?
But if he did, yeah.
So,
right.
What he needed was an interpreter to blame it on.
oh my gosh.
Oh, come on.
What are you saying?
Nothing, Carey.
But I think putting him in the Hall of Fame to tell the story of baseball, you can't tell the story of baseball without Pete Rose.
It's like the steroid
It's the
guys.
steroid era.
100%.
Yeah.
And I would assume that once some of those guys end up passing away, that maybe they'll end up getting in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they set the precedent.
Are you killing people off right now?
I don't think he's killing them off.
What he's saying is once
everybody dies, Jamie.
Oh, whoa. There are kids listening right now who have no idea. That's what happens. Wow. And you just took that opportunity for the parents to explain that to them. It's terrible. It's a terrible thought. Sorry, kids. I mean, they just jumped in their cars, enjoyed a nice day. Probably took some tests, some year-end tests, and now Andrew Marsh of the Fast Lane is telling them that someday they're not going to be here. Like, that's tough. It's a tough day.
That's a tough one.
Take a hard left turn.
I should have said spoiler alert before I went out there.
You should have.
Now they got to explain to little Johnny.
You can't go back like Major League Baseball is trying to go back now and say that it's okay for Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson to be in the Hall.
So they say based on the current rules, it looks like they could be enshrined into the Hall of Fame as early as 2028.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
What are we doing?
If they're voted in. Right. That's the next thing.
That doesn't mean that they will be.
No.
But, I mean, you got the all-time hit king. I don't know how. Who wouldn't vote him in?
Well, some.
I'm sorry that I ruined everybody's day.
Circle of life.
It's
And jammed cookies into the VCR.
Is that what you did?
That's what Buddy the Elf did.
Oh, that's right.
man.
Buddy the Elf. Yep. All right, Marsh, what else you got for us?
How about Shadur Sanders? Everybody's saying that Shadur Sanders looks like the best quarterback out of camp right now.
Oh, boy.
Do you think that the Browns may have fallen into Shadur Sanders?
The Browns did what the Browns do. They made a mistake. They drafted a quarterback ahead of Shadur, and then they brought in Shadur, and somehow or another, it ended up being the right choice. I don't know.
They Browns this thing right up.
They did what the Browns do, but somehow this time actually may have gotten it right. Again, I don't know how I'm getting all of this Cleveland Browns messaging on my Twitter feed, but there are reports that he was the best player. It was rookie camp, the best player in rookie camp. He was way better than Dylan Gabriel, who they drafted in the third round. And if you're looking at this roster, even the Browns social media, they're posting a lot of Shadur, which, yeah, like, you got to read the tea leaves. Like, they don't have a quarterback on their roster right now that is healthy that you would say is better than Shadur Sanders. Joe Flacco, Jamie loves him.
Hall of Famer?
No, he's not. Jamie loves him. But Joe Flacco is on his, maybe. Joe Flacco is on his, what, 6th or 7th team? Now?
Yeah, he's been a very wanted commodity, Carey.
I believe so.
Ravens, Jets, Browns,
hang on. Colts.
Colts.
Browns twice.
This is the Browns again. It's another one that we're missing.
Carey, there's
Ravens,
a lot of
Jets, Browns,
Is he a
Colts.
Raider?
It's another team. I don't remember.
There's a lot of elite athletes that have played on a lot of different teams.
I agree.
Some in different countries.
You and me. Agreed. We're one and the same.
Ravens, Broncos, Jets, Eagles,
yeah.
Jets.
What the hell was it with the Eagles?
Well, before.
Colts.
Browns, Colts. He's 6.
6 or 7 teams.
6 is the number.
No wonder Jamie loves him so much.
And then you got Kenny Pickett.
What the hell does that mean?
Who is on his 3rd team.
You get to throw out chirps all day, but I can't.
Listen, you did the last one to yourself.
You did do that one. Marshy looked like he wanted to go hide under the table.
I'll say it again.
Don't say it again.
Don't do that.
Don't say it again. And then you have Kenny Pickett, who's a first-round pick on his third team in 4 years, four or 5 years.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Why they drafted Dylan Gabriel, who knows? How they lucked into finding their starting quarterback in the 5th round, good for them. It's a Cleveland thing, but sometimes being dumb pays off.
I think we got to pump the brakes. This is rookie camp. I agree with the part, though, that you just said in that there's nobody within that room that could stop him.
It's by default.
But I don't know if we need to be highlighting the fact that, he's looked great. Like, it's rookie camp.
Well, no, there is something that you gain from that. Like, you understanding the offense, knowing where the ball needs to go. They're running the same plays that they're going to run, versus once regular camp starts. Now, the players will be different, but to the caliber, the level that he's playing against, he's showing up and he's showing out well. So I think that if all things go well, he will get an opportunity. And again, the fact that the Browns' social media is just pumping Shedeur information out there, it's kind of a telltale sign for me.
Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Joe Vitale is going to join us next. I think we'll wrap up our weekly chats with Joe. We'll get his observations on the Blues season, and then take a look ahead with the offseason fastly approaching, too. Joe Vitale next.
If you are thinking about selling your home anywhere in the St. Louis area, now is not the time to take a chance and just hope for the best outcome. You're going to want to sell with certainty and for the most money guaranteed in writing. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Look, Gloria's name says it all. Your price is Gloria's promise. And Gloria, by the way, she already has the buyers, and your home may already be sold. Ready buyers are in her exclusive database looking to buy a home in your price range and in your neighborhood. That's how Gloria Lou is able to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it, guaranteed upfront and in writing. You need to sell and buy at the same time. Gloria's Sell and Stay program lets you stay in your home and buy your dream home, eliminating the hassles. That's because Gloria Lou's been in the business for 20 years. She's able to do all of these things. So please take a quick second, give her a call, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. But remember that you have to agree upon the sales price as well as the possession date.
Fastline on 101 ESPN. We do need a new Gauntlet contestant, so if you want to participate, you can. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line, so just text in Gauntlet, and you'll have an opportunity to take on one of us in about 15 minutes or so. But let's head to our Callier and Thompson phone line, where we're going to talk to the one and only Joe Vitale, who is wrapping things up with us this week and before we head into the offseason here. Joe, how are you?
What's up, boys? Doing well.
Joe, what's the biggest thing you learned this season from the Blues? Could be anything, but what's the biggest thing that you learned that could be applied to maybe the offseason or moving forward?
The biggest thing I think is that I would say that younger pillar group of youthful guys that need to take the reins on this organization, they've arrived. That's to me what I learned, because you knew the young talent would come. You knew Bolduc would eventually come around. You knew Snuggerud was going to be the player he was. Obviously, you go out, you get your coach, you lock him in for 5 years. He's one of the best in the game. Those are all great things. The one kind of question mark was, I think, over the last couple of seasons, as you kind of turned over from the O'Reilly, Pietrangelo, Perron, Bozak era, if you will, with Tarasenko in there as well as a couple other guys. What would that next kind of group look like? And I think over the last couple of years, they quickly turned it over to Thomas and the Kairos, the neighbors, if you will, the Parekos. But you didn't know exactly what you had. To me, that was what I learned this year. It was the biggest step was the way Robert Thomas established himself as a true number one center in the league. The way he can shut down. You look at Jordan Kyrou, another 30-plus goal season. He's a kid that really sharpened up his defensive game. That can play a two-way game now all of a sudden. So that to me, Stalter, I would say, was the biggest question mark coming into the year, is when these young guys were going to take that next role. And I think for those guys, like I mentioned, including Colton Parayko, I'll throw in the mix here too, took such a huge step.
Joey, what was the biggest surprise for you in a positive way that maybe you just didn't see coming, whether it was some of the young guys, veteran players, just something that surprised you?
Well, I think the number one, the clear one, the obvious one probably is that, you get Cam Fowler, and what would that be? I talked to a couple different guys there in Anaheim when that Fowler trade happened. Remember, at the time, he had no goals on the year. I think his career was kind of slowly winding down. At least it seemed that way in Anaheim. He played there his whole career, almost closed in on 1,000 games, all with the Ducks before Doug Armstrong made that trade acquisition. He gets here, the numbers aren't great. His number, to me, he was never a player. I don't know about you, Jamie. He wasn't a player anytime he played Anaheim. Yeah, you circled the name because it's a name that's been there forever, but he wasn't, to me, a game changer.
You're right.
I didn't look at Cam Fowler as a player that, doggone, keep an eye on him. He certainly wasn't in the Cale Makar class. He's not in a Werenski class. Not even like a Seth Jones, kind of second tier. I just kind of looked at him as like a third, fourth tier defenseman, kind of was in the way a lot. He would make some things happen on a power play, but aside from that, not a game changer. That, to me, was a surprise. He came in with St. Louis, and he changed not only the game, but he evolved to really drive the offense of this whole team. He made everyone around him better. I think he made the defenders, as far as the Parekos, you look at the Brobergs, they all kind of mimicked his game in some way. Nick Leddy, even Justin Falk jumping up in the rush. They all started playing more an offensive game. This Blues team, the identity, even to the very end, was that the defense drove the offense. And I think that Cam Fowler, when we got him, he essentially not only found his game, but he made everyone around him better.
Joey, the Blues had to fight and claw to get that final wild card spot, the last game of the year. What do they need to add this offseason to get out of that spot, to take a step further and potentially be one of the top teams in the division?
Yeah, Carey, I think to me the obvious one is you find some more stability in the middle. Find a second-line centerman. I think that, Braden Shen certainly filled in that role very nicely. But I think that, to me, he really had to step outside of his comfort zone and really push himself to be uncomfortable all season long to be that second-line centerman. They knew that this was a spot they didn't have a guy for at the beginning of the year, because that's why they moved Buchnevich in the middle. They tried the Buchnevich centerman experiment. It definitely took its time, but I think at the end of the day, Pavel is most comfortable on the wing. So there was a little bit of a hole in the second-line centerman position. Like I said, I thought Braden did a hell of a job playing, especially in the middle of Jordan Kyrou and Dylan Holloway. That was such a such a fun, electric line down the stretch here and really got the Blues into the playoffs, at least helped them anyway. But I think as Braden gets a little bit older, I think he probably feels most comfortable in a top 9 and in a third-line centerman role where he can kind of chew up, 15, 16 minutes and do it more effectively of a checking line center and defend very well. But at the end of the day, I think to me that's where you got to go out. You got to get creative. You got to be a little adventurous. Do you move a couple guys at the deadline? Do you shift some draft picks around? Because this team is obviously, as we've seen, not only close, but they're right there. But a good veteran player right down the middle, strength of a two-way centerman could really help this team.
Joe Vitale joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Joe, I know that you're not privy to every single conversation that is had within the locker room for the Blues, but you also are much closer than us, or at least, Carey, me, and Marsh, maybe not for Jamie. But how has Jim Montgomery's coaching philosophy reshaped the Blues' play style and culture in your eyes?
Two things really stand out. Number one is that you got back to the habits and the fundamentals of what makes a player successful. I think that, a lot of coaches who coach the National Hockey League level, you're dealing with millionaires, let's be honest. I mean, you're a coach behind the bench, but you're telling a guy in front of you who's making $8 million, almost 4 times as much, maybe even more, what to do. It's a weird situation. I had a coach that ended up just losing his job in the league where he kind of came in and he wanted to establish the fundamentals and the details of the game. Listen, sometimes these veteran players aren't ready for it. It takes a certain personality to come in and really kind of reinvent the wheel, if you will, to get back to the basics. And I think that's what Jim has done. And he's done it from obviously having the pedigree where he's won everywhere he went. So it's helped that he had instant credibility when he stepped into the locker room. But then his delivery and his coaching style obviously catered towards it. But that's what he established here. To me, you look at the practice habits, you look at the details of the game, the stopping, the starting, the sticks on the puck, steering a play with your stick positioning, all those different things that a player can get away from for a while, especially at this level. And then once you get to this level, you kind of stop listening to people. So it's kind of a hard thing for a coach to come in and do. I think Jim has done a great job at that, number one. And secondly, I think the biggest thing, Jamie's around, I'm around. We see the way Jim interacts to the media, in the locker room, on the buses, in the hallways. This is the coach who he reignited fun into this locker room. Like he made it fun again, smiling. He's got a great personality. He's hooting, he's hollering in practice. He really has just brought a ton of enthusiasm and fun to this thing. And as anyone will tell you, it's a long season. It's a stressful season. There's a lot of pressure. And I think you need to have not only players but coaches that can come in and establish a fun culture. And I think he's done that. So, again, with the details of what makes Blues hockey so great, he established that. He also established it with a lot of fun and having the process of it all. So those two things, to me, is what really stands out about Jim.
Joe, great stuff. As always, we appreciate your contributions throughout the season, and we're certainly going to miss chatting with you each and every week. But before long, we'll have you on for training camp.
Hey, sounds good, boys. You guys have a great summer. We'll talk to you here pretty soon.
All right, thanks, Joe. You too.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya, Joe.
That's our guy, Joe Vitale, here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, you got a new Gauntlet contestant. We're ready to rock?
We are ready to rock. Chris will be our Gauntlet contestant.
Right. Warm it up, Chris.
He has been listening
crisscross
for about 24 hours. 24 hours this
24
last
hours
week
straight?
while traveling.
Really?
24 hours straight?
Well, I don't know. That'd be tough.
Maybe off and on.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, Chris is locked in.
Get some rest, Chris.
And he's going to be joining us next on the Gauntlet here on 101 ESPN.
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, best in the business, I'll tell you that much. They have two great locations now. The original one in Florissant, Missouri, and the brand new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. I can tell you this, both locations have a tremendous amount of brand new inventory and pre-owned inventory. And let's not forget the Londoff guarantee. So if you're trading your vehicle in, some places will have it where you get credit or little bonuses. No, with Londoff, you get the most cash possible for your cars. It's a Londoff guarantee. And customer service is the beginning of everything for Londoff Chevrolet. They want to make sure you get a great vehicle. Yes, they're confident in their vehicles, all that stuff, but they want you to have a fantastic experience purchasing a car. Gone are the days where you feel intimidated to go to the car lot and worry about haggling for a price of the car. No, Londoff Chevrolet, they give you a great price to the car, and then they take great care of you as well. That's why I've been a customer for over 25 years, and I will continue to be a customer for another 25 years. So please stop by either location. Please tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. But if you can't get there in person, please get there online at Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
401, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Chris to play in the Gauntlet today. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing great, man. Appreciate you listening, especially as much as you have over the last couple of days here, as Marsh was telling us before the break. You've got the full board. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me in round one?
Let's go with Jamie.
Wow, that works out well because Jamie is currently not in the studio, so we'll just make sure that he doesn't come back in.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris, and tell Andrew Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marsh.
What are you hoping for, Chris?
I know how this works, but I won't have a chance on hockey.
Well, good for you.
Get out.
Jamie, get out. Get out of here.
Out.
Go.
You got to be so mean about
Get out.
it.
See ya. What do we got?
It is random.
Random. How do you feel about random, Chris?
That's perfect.
Okay. All right, good. Well, you're going to get 4 random questions. Thank you, Marsh. Each question worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yep.
For the first time in MLS history, a team won a game without taking a shot. 2 weeks ago, that honor went to which team?
Soccer's as bad as hockey. Options.
Wow. Sporting KC, Toronto FC, Seattle Sounders.
Let's go with KC. Final answer.
All right, question number 2. Last Friday, Pope Leo the 14th, I'm glad they put the number there, celebrated his first Mass as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Where was the first American Pope born? We do need the city, please.
Chicago.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 3. Who is Dora the Explorer's best friend? A 5-year-old monkey with an impeccable command of the English language.
My youngest was with me. She would know this. Options.
Options are Dante, Boots, or Tycho Brahe.
Let's go with A. Final answer.
That would be Dante.
All right, Chris, final question. The first official day of spring occurred when?
Options.
March 20th, March 15th, April 5th.
Go March 20. Final answer.
Okay. Let's welcome back Jamie. Chris, how you feeling?
No, I got 1.
Okay. Let's see what Jamie's got in store for us today. He's making his way back in from the cone of silence right now. Moving his chair, thrusting it, actually, out of the way.
What are you thrusting?
His chair.
Stop thrusting.
First time you said that.
Hi, Jamie. How was the cone of silence?
I'm very silent. It's just not the same without Mike Ryder in there.
Sure.
He doesn't, there's no music, no conversation,
Nothing.
you know.
Yeah, you got nothing. All right. Random is your category today. Random.
Yes! Let's go, baby.
Pack a lunch.
Okay.
Question 1.
Yeah.
For the first time in MLS history, a team won a game without taking a shot. 2 weeks ago, that honor went to
Sporting KC. I saw that. What an embarrassment for the sport. Sorry. That's just my opinion. Final answer.
Question number 2. Last Friday, Pope Leo the 14th celebrated his first Mass as the leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Where was the first American Pope born? We do need the city, please.
Well, he's a White Sox fan, so I'll say Chicago. Final answer.
Question number 3. Who is Dora the Explorer's best friend? A 5-year-old monkey with an impeccable command of the English language.
Yeah. All my kids were Dora fans too. Dora. That's Boots. Final answer. Man, random's falling on my lap today.
the first official day of spring occurred when?
This year? I know it was right after my birthday. What day of the week was my birthday again, Anthony? Was it a Saturday or a Sunday? So it's usually like Thursday, I think, following is 70. I'm doing math in my head real quick. 70. 20? 21? 20? March 20th. 21st. 20th. Final answer.
Which one is it?
Hell.
Now you got me. You restarted the computer on me now. March 20th. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Chris versus Jamie in random. For the first time in MLS history, a team won a game without taking a shot. 2 weeks ago, that honor went to Chris of Sporting KC, Jamie said Sporting KC. Correct answer is
Sporting KC.
But Jamie didn't need the option, so Jamie's got a 2-1 lead over Chris. Last Friday, Pope Leo XIV celebrated his first Mass as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Where was the first American Pope born? Chris said Chicago. Jamie said Chicago. Correct answer is
Chicago!
Neither of you needed the options on that one. The first official day of spring occurred when? Chris said March 20th.
Come on.
Jamie flip-flopped, did some, guerrilla math, and wound up with March 20th. Correct answer is
March 20th.
Jamie didn't need the options on that one.
Let's go, Carey. Let's go, baby.
Jamie with a 2-point lead. Who is Dora the Explorer's best friend? 5-year-old monkey with an impeccable command of the English language. Jamie said Boots. Chris said Dante. Chris.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Correct answer is
Boots.
It is Boots. Yep. Jamie with 8, Chris with 4. Apparently, Jamie wrote these questions, Chris. I apologize, man. I'm sorry.
I knew I was in trouble when he rattled off Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, that one was tough. So, we do appreciate you listening. Thanks for playing, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you.
Chris. Thanks, buddy.
Well, Chris has been listening for 24 straight hours or something like that?
Yeah, all together,
24 hours.
Whacked by Jamie and the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Over Dora the Explorer.
Right. So,
do you know some of the other characters?
I don't know Dora. No,
do the kids
Dora.
watch Dora?
I'm
No.
the map. I'm the map.
Nope.
I'm the map.
Dora. The Boots one was a layup.
Yeah. You know,
Because the monkey
Swiper?
wears
No,
big
I
boots.
don't.
Yeah.
So,
Swiper, no swiping.
Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah.
He steals.
Oh, man.
The raccoon that steals things from
swiping.
people.
Yeah.
Or it's a fox, isn't it?
I think he's
I think he's a fox.
Fox,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a fox.
And we have the map who talks to her, tells her where to go.
Yeah.
You've got Diego, her cousin.
Go, Diego, go.
Grandma and Grandpa in there. Go,
Carmen Sandiego.
Nah, that's a different. That's a different
one.
show.
Yep.
Where in the world?
They're
It's
related.
Carmen Sandiego.
San Diego Chicken.
That's the
Always go
mascot.
with that. If you don't know the answer to anything, San Diego Chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's,
My,
good. That's good advice.
My oldest, Carson, watched Dora like nonstop, dude. Like this, and she'd have a favorite episode and watch it over and over and over. I was like, oh my God.
It never ends.
Oh, it's bad.
You're doing a lot of exploring.
Yeah. Dora always seemed to have the right things in her backpack, too.
All the time.
Oh, of course.
Like she's like Inspector Gadget all of a sudden.
Yeah.
She's always talking to herself, too.
She did a bad haircut, too. Parents don't love her. Bad haircut.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that
maybe
straight
couldn't
across
afford
bowl
bowl
cut.
cut. I mean,
no.
I had a bowl cut at
She
one.
looked like she
one
wore
time.
Darth Vader's helmet. No,
She didn't have a lot of time for
And a huge
getting her
head.
hair done.
How big was her head, too? Massive.
Massive dome?
Looked like an orange on a toothpick.
Wow.
He's like, do you know where the water bottle is?
Yeah.
It's like, it's right there. Like,
Dora, just
turn
turn
around,
right there.
Dora.
Turn around.
Turn
Where
that
is
Sputnik
it?
around and have a look.
It's right there. Let's use the
There it
map to
is.
find the water bottle.
The funny thing is, Carey, you and Jamie you viewed it from your kids.
Yeah.
Marshy watched it as a kid. That's the funny part.
Marshy watched it over morning cereal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. I watched that and Power Rangers and all sorts of different shows.
Power Rangers. All right, we're just a couple weeks away from the return of the Morning After's Dotem Golf Tournament, refreshed by Michelob Ultra. The Dotem returns on May 29th and 30th at Oak Valley Golf Course and Resort. Friday's foursome is already sold out, but spots still remain for Thursday, May 29th. Get your foursome together for a full day on the course with TMA, which includes complimentary breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, all your Michelob Ultra, the 100 West Dental closest to the pin competition, a long drive competition courtesy of Pondoff's Anonymous Recovery Podcast, and an after party with food from Texas Roadhouse on Thursday and Super Smokers Barbecue on Friday. A portion of the proceeds will support the St. Louis Hero Network in honor of Brian McKenna. Find all the Dotem info now at 101ESPN.com. Jackson Burkett from TMA came into the office today and said that TMA heard us talking about them yesterday, and I know words were exchanged. I didn't hear it though. I didn't hear what they said.
They said something?
Yeah, apparently they took umbrage some of the things that we were saying yesterday.
We said,
yeah, which basically we said.
I'll blame it, Carey. I said it.
We weren't invited to the.
I'm not.
No, I'm not
the tournament. Which is true. We haven't been invited.
Led to some other stuff, but
what?
Oh, they had it coming.
They shouldn't have been standing there.
Shouldn't have worn that jacket.
No. That's right.
Sure.
Jamie did go in on that.
What did I do?
The jacket.
What?
They look
Come
like
on,
game
clearly.
shows.
Yeah. Let's make a deal.
Speaking of deal, will another offer sheet be off the table this offseason for the Blues? We'll have that conversation next on 101 ESPN. Matt Maher tweeted out the compensation, the offer sheet compensation levels for this year for the NHL. If it's just under $1.5 million, no compensation is needed. If it's over that, in the range of $1.5 million to $2.3 million, it's a third-round pick. If it's over $2.3 to $4.6, it's a second-round pick, and then it goes up from there. Jamie, the Blues currently do not have their 2026 second-rounder, and that, if again, depending on what the compensation might be, that could hinder them from being able to do another offer sheet like they did last year with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. However, you can see from the table that you could get a player without needing a second rounder, but you'd have to give up maybe a third or first. Will another offer sheet be on the table this offseason for the Blues, you think?
I don't know.
Or do you think that was just striking while the iron's hot?
I think it was perfect strategy, striking a team that had to make some really tough decisions, that are in win-now mode, who had just signed veteran players up against the cap. I mean, the timing and the execution of it was perfect. Do I see the Blues now every year going back to the table? Hey, can we offer sheet this year? I don't. First of all, they're definitely looking. But is it an automatic that that's the way they're going to do business from now on? No, it's not. And as far as the second-round pick is concerned, I think Army showed you that that's an easy way to get around that.
Fast lane them picks? Less need? That's what Les said.
No.
Is that what he said?
No, he didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Les did.
He made a trade. He made a trade with the Penguins and reacquired his second-round pick last year.
I'm going to need that back, guys.
So if there's a team out there with multiple second-round picks, there's a way to send a prospect or a player or something that, you don't view as part of the organization, or that you could do without, or even, couple together a third and a fifth-round pick for a second-round pick. Who knows, right? You can reacquire a second-round pick if you really want to. But again, I just don't know if Army is going to be, if that's the first thing they're doing as far as looking at the restricted free agent market. This year's going to be tricky because with the salary cap going up, there are quite a few teams that are going to be able to keep their restricted free agents. So if a team is up against the cap currently and they have a restricted free agent that is valuable, it's around the league, would generate a lot of attention. I think the cap's going up, $5 or $6 million this year? If I'm that team, then I don't add anything. I don't add to my cap. I keep a buffer zone of the $5 to $6 million. Mm-hmm. So if somebody does offer sheet my restricted free agent, I can match their offer with it being in reason. Like if they offer $8 million, and here you go, take the player because he's completely unproven as far as for $8 million.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think there are a lot of teams, though, that will have learned from Doug Armstrong, both on the side of going to poach players from another team or to protect their own players. And Army talked about that, I believe it was on the Cam and Strick podcast when he did talk about it, just said, you look at the Red Wings, you look at the Bruins, they had Swayman, and the Bruins had enough salary cap space that they left in order to match anything anybody would do. The Red Wings had $12 million in cap space to protect Moritz Seider and some of the other guys that were restricted free agents. So teams will learn from Edmonton's mistakes on this, and teams will learn from Army's aggressiveness as well. Yeah. I think Army set a new trend in the NHL to where all of a sudden it's not taboo anymore. It's going to be an aggressive strategy.
So the HockeyWriters.com have a list out, 8 NHLers who could be offer sheet targets this offseason. Evan Bouchard, JJ Peterka.
What? Hang on.
Jack Quinn, JJ.
Oh, yeah, Peterka.
Peterka, sorry.
Peterka.
He's not a real player.
My bad.
Can't even say his name.
That doesn't say anything for me. Marco Rossi?
Yeah. Rossi. I'm not looking at your
Matthew
list.
Nyes, Gabriel Velarde.
Yeah.
And 2 others here, Keandre Miller and Will Culley.
Yeah.
Anybody fit the Blues there? Or you'd be interested in?
Yeah, Matthew Nyes. But the Leafs are in a predicament, too, because they have some high-priced players. And Mitch Marner is going to be unrestricted free agent, and the Leafs will have an opportunity to continue to negotiate with him up until, July 1st. But if they do sign Mitch Marner, I don't know if they have enough money to match an offer sheet on Matthew Nyes, which is why I think the Leafs are going to move on from Mitch Marner so that they have plenty of cap space in case somebody wants to come and try and get Matthew Nyes because he's a heck of a hockey player. He would be great here. Even though he's another winger to add to a pool of wingers, it doesn't matter. You find a spot for that guy. Velarde, that's an interesting one, too. He had a pretty good season in Winnipeg, good power play guy. Again, another winger, so you have to kind of contemplate, what you're getting into there. The rest of them, now, Evan Bouchard is interesting, but he's going to cost way too much money. Whatever your offer sheet on him is going to be $8 million at least. That's tough.
Yeah.
I just have this dream of Matthew Nyes, Robert Thomas, and Jimmy Snuggerud all on one line. You have two of the three components that made up one of the best lines in college hockey a few years ago.
Yep.
Man, that would be that'd be something, wouldn't it?
How do you get it done, Marsh?
Well, you screw over another team, Anthony. I think that's the best way to do it.
It would be tough. It would be tough in this case because you would be looking at a first, maybe two firsts, depending on how much money you end up giving, but it's probably going to be over $7 million. So it'd be first, second, and third round picks, which for a guy like Matthew Nyes, you'd be more than willing to do it. But the Leafs, though, the Leafs will have to screw up big time in order to not leave themselves enough cap space to match whatever anybody offers.
So. Tonight in the National Hockey League, there's only one game. It'll be the Jets and the Stars, and that series right now is 2-1 Dallas, and Dallas has another game tonight, or another home game tonight, I should say. So Game 4 tonight. This series, to me, it's a foregone conclusion. I think the Stars are going to wrap this thing up. But, Jamie, you had mentioned watch the Panthers and Maple Leafs, because if the Panthers can even things, you thought Toronto was going to be done.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Even though it's in Toronto tomorrow night for Game 5, the Panthers have evened it. What about the Golden Knights, though?
They're in tough now, man.
Yeah, who are now trailing 3-1. They lost last night. They were shut out 3-0. And at one point, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Skinner was somebody that you said was hard to hit.
Well, that's his first playoff win.
So he's been hard to hit.
He's been hard to hit, but last night he played fantastic. This is actually, what's funny about it is Skinner did the same thing last year. If you remember, Skinner was in and out of the net, and then finally played well enough to take the net and keep it, and then end up getting the team all the way to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. Even in the final series against Florida, it was a tale of two different goalies, almost like a Connor Hellebuck, to where he was either unable to stop the puck or unbeatable. And it's just a weird thing with Stuart Skinner. So, but the Vegas Golden Knights aren't generating nearly enough offense. Like, at one point, halfway through the game, they did 7 or 8 shots on net. No, that's not going to cut it. It's just not. Not when you're playing against guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, Corey Perry, Evander Kane. The Oilers have a legit squad. I was worried about their decor without Ekholm and the goaltending. I still don't think they're a Stanley Cup team. With Dallas now, Heiskanen's coming back in the lineup, was arguably top 3 defenseman in the NHL when he's healthy. If he's healthy, that's a big boost for the Stars. So I think they'll make pretty quick work of the Jets here the rest of the way. And then, Dallas, to me, would be the odds-on favorite now to get to the Cup from the Western Conference.
That's Carey's team.
Dallas?
Yeah. Didn't you pick the Stars?
I didn't know he likes the Cowboys.
No, I don't like the Cowboys at all.
No.
You don't give me that damn team.
He's a Steelers fan.
I am.
Ravens fan.
No. He loves the Steelers.
He didn't say it. I said it.
Yeah.
He told me to say it.
He probably see how that works?
Text me.
The Steelers.
Thank you,
Ravens.
We did get a question from, I don't know where it went.
314.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Talking about Hofer being offer sheeted. Do you think that that's a possibility?
It could be, but Army is on record saying that he's going to have enough cap space to match whatever.
Gotcha.
I think Army might get to work here as soon as the season's over, and you'll see an extension for Hofer as well as Broberg and Holloway, and get those 3 guys taken care of so that you can put that to bed.
Okay.
To me, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, what Holloway and Broberg are. You know what they are now.
Yeah, right.
Why not get them here long term?
Agreed.
In 8 years, takes them to 30.
Right.
It's perfect.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, James Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Are we too focused on Jordan Walker's development at the plate that we're missing his development in the outfield? We'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN. I love going to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. When we've needed a vehicle in the Stalter household, we love the Nissan Pathfinder. We love the way it drives. We love that it's got the third row, which is huge for a young family that's got multiple different car seats, right? Like the Lincoln's in a car seat. We've got Killian in a booster. And, I mean, it's tough sometimes when you've got all the sports equipment and you're driving from one practice to another or the game to another. And you want that third row. You want the convenience of having everybody get in and out, but you also don't want to drive a minivan. That's where the Nissan Pathfinder comes in. But if you're looking for a vehicle, a car, maybe a Nissan Altima, maybe you're not even looking at a Nissan. You're looking at, a different make, different model. Great. Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they've got over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location, right off I-55 in McNutt Herculaneum, just minutes from South County. And when they say that the inventory is going to be there right on site, it's not just like you go to other dealerships' websites and then you go to the dealership and they don't have it there and they say, well, that's at a different location of ours. Not at Auto Center's Nissan. Whatever you see at AutoCentersNissan.com, you can see in person in Herculaneum. And they got their Bloom and Vroom sales event going on, so you could score big with no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans, no payments for 3 months on used vehicles, a complimentary new car lifetime warranty, a 30-day new car return promise, and 3 oil changes included on every new Nissan. So check them out online or out in Herculaneum. Again, AutoCentersNissan.com. Auto Centers Nissan, where the inventory is big, the savings are bigger, and the nonsense is nowhere to be found.
Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals get it done last night. 3-2 victory over the Philadelphia Phillies. They're off today, not because they're off, but because the game was postponed due to the weather. We'll have a doubleheader tomorrow against the Phillies. The first game is at 12:05, and the second game of the doubleheader will be at 5:15. We talked earlier today with Joe Vitale. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Are we too focused on Jordan Walker's development at the plate that we're missing his development in the outfield? That's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Shallow center, Victor broke back, and Walker's going to get there. Walker comes out of nowhere to save it for the Cardinals, who win their 9th straight game.
Chip Carey on the call last night for FanDuel Sports Network as the Cardinals won their 9th straight game. And Jordan Walker made a heck of a play in right field. As Marsh just mentioned in the Sports Center update, do you guys think that we're kind of missing it because we're too focused on his struggles at the plate? We're missing how Jordan Walker has developed in right field defensively.
I think we are maybe not appreciating it as much as we should. I think you're looking at a player that changed positions a few years ago, and we saw the struggles over the last couple of years in right field, misplaying balls, not seeing it well enough off the bat. And I think the play has changed drastically from last season to this year. He looks like a right fielder. He looks like a guy that's comfortable out there. Balls that are hit directly at him, you don't see him taking missteps. Like, I think that's the hardest ball to kind of gauge where it's going to be, the ones that are hit directly at you. He's doing a great job. And the play he made last night to finish that game, I was more afraid for Victor Scott than I was for Jordan Walker catching it. I'm like, he's running. He's running fast. Victor, you might want to move to the side just a little bit so you don't get ran over. But watching him play right field has been great. I don't know that the hitting needs to pick up. Like, I don't think we're saying, oh, we're not worried about, like, the fielding has been great. It's been outstanding. But he also, I think both can be true. He also does need to perform better at the plate. So,
yeah, it's been noticeable all season long that Jordan Walker's defensive part of the game has improved. It has. Right from the very beginning, he made a couple of really good catches. His reads on the ball, his first step, everything looks better from a defensive standpoint. And that's great. He put the work in. Mm-hmm. Problem is he's not doing anything at the plate. And so as much as we can sit here and be happy or impressed with what he's doing defensively, which is great, I'm happy for him because that was supposed to be the biggest question mark. But now the biggest question mark has turned into his offense to where he looks out of whack at the plate. I'm watching him last night, and he's guessing. He's not in a rhythm. He doesn't look comfortable or relaxed. It's like every pitch that's coming, he's trying to guess what pitch it is and hoping he guesses right. And you can't play in the major leagues that way. You just can't. Like, I've never played in the majors, so I'm not going to sit here and say, I know. But watching other players and listening to other people and being around it enough, that's not sustainable. And clearly we're seeing that it's not. So as much as, again, I can be happy with nice catches, good defensive plays, not being a detriment in the field, I can't overlook the fact that the offensive side of the game has just plummeted.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, his defense has been good, but I think we've been very appropriate with how we've reacted to the offense. It's been dreadful. He's got a 45 WRC plus. It's the worst on the team among qualified and non-qualified hitters. 45. Michael Ciani, who's now in Memphis, had a 58.
Yeah.
Gorman's at 61. None of this is good. Pedro Paz is 81. 81, which is 19 percentage points below average for that metric. Jordan Walker's at 45. He looks lost at the plate. So, yeah, it was a great play last night. Drew Attenda, we've highlighted that. He has definitely improved. No question. Full stop on that, period. He's been so bad at the plate, though, that your focus has to go there.
It's almost uncomfortable watching him.
Yeah, he's last thing's down on one knee at one point, I think, wasn't he, on the one swing? It's just
he's reaching with one hand on the bat. Like, it's like...
I would like to see him hit the ball up the middle or go the opposite way.
I'd like to see him just hit the ball, Carey.
There it is.
He did hit one up the middle yesterday.
He hit it right up the middle. But I would like to see him. I feel like I'm not a hitting coach. Right now, I didn't play baseball since I was a young man. But I do watch it on TV, so that makes me a expert. No, that's how that works. Is
it?
Yeah.
You qualify for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, not you, but some of the people that...
But
not you, though.
Not me.
Because you didn't play.
Yeah. But I watch it, so I'm an expert. The hell are we talking about? But yeah, just hit it where... just take it to right field, man. I think he would have so much more... I think he would... Just hitting the ball, as you said, just getting the hit.
Like, at least before he was having hard contact. And now even the base hits that he get are not like they're...
Well, I also wonder, too, and maybe he is doing this, and I'm missing it, but almost have a two-strike approach right when you get into the batter's box.
So. Have you seen him with two strikes?
Well, what I mean by that is fair. What I mean by that is scooting closer to the plate. So now...
You can lean into one. I like your strategy.
But they're not even going inside. So normally you want to take away that inside pitch, right?
Yeah.
But...
No, they know he's going to go fishing outside.
Exactly. So scoot closer to the plate, widen your stance, so a step isn't even necessary. Because when he steps, he's like stepping out. So widen it, choke up, two-strike approach, and look for that slider. On the opposite side of the plate.
Anthony, at this point, I don't think anything's a bad idea.
Right.
I just don't.
And I'm sure they're going over that with him.
Left-handed?
That might be a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you said anything,
if you're lefty,
I wanted to throw something out there that could be a bad idea.
I'm just going to throw this out there.
Okay.
If you're a left-hander, you should bat lefty.
Okay.
If you're a right-hander, you should bat righty.
Okay.
If you're switch, that's different.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about like youth baseball at any age, all the way up.
You know these things.
Yeah,
you've seen them.
Sound like you have a personal experience with that.
And this conversation, it's not the same as what we were talking about when Mason Wynn came up. Like, hey, just play great defense and we'll get away with whatever you do at the plate.
It's different.
It's completely different.
Way different.
It's different because Mason Wynn didn't profile as a hitter first, right? Like Jordan Walker has moved around because you're trying to do what?
Find a spot for him.
Find a spot for his bat.
That's right.
So Mason Wynn plays a premium defensive position. He's playing shortstop. So it is not the same conversation as it was a year ago with Mason Wynn. It just, hey, play good defense. We'll figure out the bat. Or like when Yachty came up.
Oh, yeah.
That's completely different.
This is why I get frustrated, and not with you, Jamie, or with the texter, but it says with Walker, I'd settle for hard contact at this point. Well, he was hitting the ball hard.
Why would you be frustrated with me?
Because he was hitting the ball hard, and everybody, I don't know if you said it, but he needs to hit it higher. And launch angle is terrible. No, a couple years ago.
We'll just hit the ball on the ground.
Just hit it hard.
Just hit the ball on the ground hard.
You hear that?
And,
can't see it. Eventually, it'll get up.
Maybe.
It usually gets up, right?
It usually does.
Usually gets
you put
up.
Enough work into it.
Sometimes you need help.
Especially when you're a young man. Yeah. Not when you're young. You don't need that much help.
No problem getting
Very true.
You don't need much help. Eventually, it gets up, and you're able to
Sometimes
get it out
you don't even necessarily want it to be up.
But it is.
Goes up, you know?
Yeah.
Not a lot of hard work involved in that when you're young. Yeah. So when you get older, you got to figure out different ways to get it up. And get
you're a wily veteran. Sometimes you got to trick yourself a little bit.
See?
Yeah.
We still talking about baseball?
Yeah.
Of course.
And I get criticized for making something that is the most apparent thing in the world I just, whatever.
Well, you're still stuck on that, huh?
I am.
But you said it.
He's carrying that around.
You said it.
I did say it.
That with him for the rest of the week.
He's carrying it around. Look at him.
It's only Tuesday, and these kids have got to hear that nonsense.
It's that and taxes, Anthony. It's that and taxes.
Don't talk to me about taxes.
Do you guys think Jordan Walker should get a break?
Kids should be more afraid of that. They should be more afraid of taxes.
Well, that's for sure.
Oh, God.
Do you think the Cardinals should rest him for like 3, 4, or 5 games and just try to find a rhythm from him somehow? Like change it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Nope.
And they did that before, too. And
Just keep hitting.
What if you sit him,
Just
though,
keep
for
swinging.
3, 4, 5 games, and the person you put in there all of a sudden starts swinging a hot bat, and you're like,
Well, then-
I don't know if we should put him
Then
back
you
in.
leave him in there. Like, it just is what it is.
time to get Alec Burleson's bat back in that lineup consistently.
I just don't know how a young man who looks so unconfident and so awkward at the plate right now, I don't know how playing him every day is going to help him get out of that. I just don't. At some point, you have to break the cycle and reset. Whether it's football, hockey, basketball, I can't hit a three-pointer.
Soccer.
So-
or football.
Yeah, for me, I've said this before. I think he is in his head. I went through a period. I caught over 100 passes at Illinois. There was a time where I literally couldn't catch anything. It was so bad that Coach Ron Turner, we had a specific play where the fullback ran an angle route, go out, break back in. He literally told the team, if I call this play and Carey Davis is in the game, call a damn timeout. Don't freaking run it. That's how bad it was. I could not catch anything. I don't know what happened. For a period of maybe a month, 2 months, I just was dropping everything that was thrown to me.
Were you keeping your hands closed?
Maybe my eyes were closed.
Diamond?
Maybe I don't know what I was doing, but it was in my head. It was no longer a physical inability. It wasn't like I lost the ability to catch footballs. I just couldn't catch it. And so for me, watching him right now, he's in his head. It's not a physical limitation. It is a mental.
To try and reset him a little bit here.
But sometimes that doesn't, like for me, I just had to figure it the fast lane out. I had to work extra. I had to stay after. I had to do the things that I may have taken for granted because it was something that I was able to do without even thinking. And then all of a sudden, it's like I had the yips. I literally couldn't catch anything. So the first interception that Kurt Kidner threw in his college career was because I dropped the damn pass.
I wouldn't feel bad about that. He wound up throwing a lot of picks.
Kurt was my guy.
Yeah.
He didn't throw a lot of picks in college, man.
No.
He threw it to us.
Good.
So, yeah, things like that. And it's a mental battle that you have to figure out all the components. And with catching is way easier than swinging a damn bat at a ball that is thrown at different angles and different speeds and different variety of pitches. So he just has to figure out how to get that mental block off of him so that he can be the best player that he can be.
Very true. Think he'll do it?
Yeah,
all right.
I do.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got Bet the Board coming up next. So we'll do that here in the Fastlane. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time to bet the board. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. And speaking of Marshy, what do we got for standings?
Anthony, you have 6 points this month. Jamie has 3, Carey has 3, and I have 2.
Ooh. You got 6.
Yes, sir. 6 is the number.
Cheating number.
I am not cheating.
Somehow.
Give me the Indiana Pacers plus 8 against Cleveland.
It's going to the association.
Way too many points. It's way too many points.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Wow. Give me the New York Yankees minus 144. All right. No? You don't think so, huh? You disagree?
Wow.
Actually, I don't know.
Is it me?
Sure.
Okay. Give me Miro Heiskanen. Power play point. Plus 375. First game back. He's dishing. Yeah, it's happening.
I am going to go with Connor Hellebuck under 22.5 saves tonight against the Dallas Stars. He is yet to have over 22 saves on the road in the postseason.
In ever,
Bob.
So,
what the hell?
Well, the Celtics' Jason Tatum had surgery today on his ruptured Achilles, so local product will need to take some time to repair the ruptured right Achilles tendon. Carey, as soon as you saw it, you thought, yep, that's going to be a ruptured Achilles. Mm-hmm. Really sad. It ends the season for Jason Tatum, might end the season for the Celtics, who, of course, are trying to defend their NBA title championship.
Yeah, it was disheartening watching him. You know, you could see it just watching sports. I'm almost to the point now where I've had so many injuries, I can see something and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what that is. Mm-hmm. And the way that he fell, he was kind of rolling around on the ground because I don't think it was the pain that was bothering him. I think it was the moment of, oh, man, I know what I just did and I know what this means for the rest of the season and for this playoff series. And I'm not going to be a part of it, and my team's going to struggle to find a way to win games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was disheartening because I know he's put in a lot of work and he wants to be back-to-back champions, and now he won't be a part of it. He had the surgery today. And yeah, I texted you all as soon as it happened. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a torn Achilles.
And it used to be that the torn ACL was the injury you didn't want, and then it AP came back in an hour, and you're like, oh, okay, that's not bad. But the Achilles injury has been devastating for athletes.
Yeah, I think, you know what I've always thought, like when it tears, when you tear an Achilles, when you tear an ACL, I always just assume that it's going to tear at some point. Like your body is like, yeah, that's it. I don't think it's something particular, especially when it's a non-contact injury. I'm like, yeah, it was happening at some point. Your body had enough and it needed to rest. So unfortunately for him and for the Celtics and all the Celtic fans out there, they're going to be without him. I don't think they'll be fine. Series. Nope, I don't think so. Jalen Brunson is killing.
Yeah.
He's balling.
Yeah, they even with Tatum.
He's a pretty good player, Carey.
He is.
Even for us non-NBA guys.
You know him. You know him very well. Even with Jason Tatum, the Knicks had the Celtics on the ropes. Yeah. So now without him, it's going to be scary.
Maybe they rally, guys.
Yeah, maybe.
They rally.
Yeah, they're going to rally. They're going to rally around.
Do it for
Jaylen Brown?
Sure.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No? Okay.
Not with an attitude like that.
I'm not playing. I'm not a Celtics fan.
It all matters, Carey.
I'm not a Celtics fan.
We got a text from the 314. I didn't realize Bet the Board segment ended and thought you were going to bet the board on the success of Jason Tatum's surgery.
That's ridiculous.
No, we just flew through all our picks. So, needed a little transition.
Yeah, we didn't
Speaking
have
of
beat
which,
the streak.
Bill Belichick has addressed the Jordan Hudson situation with his UNC players. Yeah, North Carolina coach Bill Belichick said he has addressed the attention surrounding his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, with his football team. But he said the media reaction and social media fervor over their relationship is not a football issue. Really off to the side, Belichick said. Sorry, really off to the side. Belichick said during a SportsCenter interview from the ACC spring meetings on Tuesday, it's a personal relationship and she doesn't have anything to do with football. Last week, reports emerged that Hudson was banned from the Tar Heels football facilities, which the school denied. And then UNC athletic director Bubba Cunningham, which is perfect, I think, for a Southern school, right, to have a director, Bubba Cunningham.
Absolutely. I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
On Tuesday, there's never been any push to keep Hudson away from the athletics department or the facilities. Bill's been great to work with. He talked about practicing like pro, and he runs a professional organization that's teaching students how to be a professional in all aspects of their life. I can't remember what, Carey, I think it was you that sent it out, maybe Marsh that sent it out last night about the sense is that Bill Belichick may not even make it to week 1.
Yeah.
Before either he walks out or UNC says, we've had enough.
He'll be fine.
I thought it was a weird setup when he decided to go to college from the jump. Bill Belichick is not a I don't know what he thought. Maybe because he has a younger girlfriend. Maybe that
if you have a college student as your girlfriend, maybe you think you can coach college.
Jamie, that could be the mindset.
You could too, Carey.
I could. I coach high school kids, and let me tell you something.
Don't do that.
I don't do it now. I don't do it now.
Don't do what he did from a high school standpoint. That's illegal.
Oh, no, hell no.
I'd stay
I'm
to
talking about
college.
coaching high school kids.
Oh, you're talking about coaching.
Coaching high school kids.
Anthony and I were confused.
Yeah, well, we're just making sure that
keep you,
But no, I think that I didn't think that this was going to be a good setup from the jump for Bill Belichick because
you did. You were all over.
Well, there's quite an age difference.
Well,
that's always set up for failures. You got that.
No. He's talking about coaching in college.
North Carolina college.
Yeah.
Football team.
I mean, at first I thought it was great. I thought, man, it's not so great.
I think this is a bad setup. And I texted you all in the group yesterday that June 1st, his buyout goes down from $10 million to $1 million. Mm-hmm. He can go and get the hell up out of there and not have to pay, $10 million to leave, or a company that whatever team decides to bring him in. If another team does, they don't have to pay that $10 million payout. And they probably will walk away and say, you know what, we can figure out these numbers. It's best.
But where's he going? Like, if he wants to coach, where's he going? It's not the NFL.
It ain't North Carolina either. This team is going to win 5 games. No. 4 games, 5 games.
Remember?
No, Jamie, they're not.
Hey, with Jordan coaching, that team's going to the play.
Michael Jordan, yeah. Hell, I'll take that. This team is this is a bad setup.
It's going to be fine. Everything will work out. I mean, what could go wrong?
Everything.
I think a lot.
Nah, Bill's got everything under control.
Yeah.
Except his girlfriend.
I think he did. But
we're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. What would he say now? We're on to NC State.
We're on to Duke.
We're on a Duke. Is there any football questions for me?
You notice he hadn't been that. You only can do that when you're winning, Anthony.
Right, yeah.
When you're not winning.
Now he's answering questions.
You better answer these damn questions
like
you got some sense, sir.
Yep.
Bill, today the defense didn't really do what, their job was supposed to do. You guys let up 48 points, 30 of that coming in the first quarter. What do you have to say about your defense?
Yeah, I'm not going to.
I'm sorry, we're not answering that question.
That's actually awesome. I want her to be a part of the press conferences.
I think she's going to be no matter what.
I want chaos. I just do. I want Bill to be sitting there almost being told to be quiet by his 24-year-old girlfriend as she's answering questions about special teams.
And every time she's like, it's not the coach's fault. I'll tell you that much.
It's the players. You see the players can't do anything.
Yeah. Somebody from the Snake Pit last week, I can't remember who it was, said, Bill, blink. If you're in trouble, blink twice. Which I feel at some point he will do that.
I can't believe I can't believe he's tolerating this. I cannot. First of all, I know, okay, she's a college student. She's a very attractive young woman. I get that. But that goes away. It does. It does. Sometimes the crazy outweighs the rest. And Bill Belichick has more money than he ever is going to be able to spend. And he there's no way he couldn't find, another woman. And he doesn't take crap from anybody. This is part of the problem that he had with Robert Kraft. And nobody can talk to Bill Belichick. And all of a sudden,
Robert was able to do.
She's got some kind of crazy power over Bill. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you do.
But,
yeah, you do.
I mean, come on, Bill.
I mean, did you guys even see the photos where she's a mermaid and he's a fisherman?
Oh, man.
Like, what are we doing?
He was doing a commercial.
Great.
Did you all saw that where he was doing the I think it was the underdog commercial, and they said she kind of moved her way into being in the commercial. Like, she forced her way into the commercial. She showed up in like a yellow bikini or swimsuit.
It's disgusting.
And they
what
made.
commercial was that?
It wasn't on there.
Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I think it was
Ben
that.
Affleck?
No,
one.
it was the underdog commercial.
There's another one?
Yeah, he got an underdog commercial where she's not in it, but they had to videotape her and make her believe she was in the commercial.
What?
They shot. Yeah, they shot. Still, like, a video with her in the commercial and told her they were going to edit her in just to get her out of the way.
She don't know what she's doing. She don't know what she's doing. Yeah, she does. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Oh, man. All right.
We have innocent bystanders weighing in. Ashley says, it's, she's crazy and hot. With Bill Belichick, by the way. Well, honey, you'd know. No, I mean,
Belichick, she knows Belichick?
Absolutely.
Yeah. She's always been very high on Bill Belichick and his coaching ability.
Big fan.
Patriot fan.
Yeah. Bullpen key to the Cardinals turnaround, or just part of a bigger picture item? That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're into sports betting, the NHL is in the playoffs. NBA playoffs are going. MLB in full swing. That's right. I meant to say it that way. Get on to Circa Sports Illinois, the app. It's easy to find, by the way. You can visit their website or find them in any app store that's out there. And they have exceptional customer service. So if you have a problem with whatever's going on, you talk to a human being, not some bot or AI at all. And that's something that they pride themselves on. They also have great lines on their futures bets, tight money line splits, and the best odds of any app that's out there. Download any other app, check it out, compare them to Circa Sports Illinois, and you'll see that the odds are the best with Circa Sports. And that means bigger payouts, and we all love that. And they also have high betting limits for people who want to bet a little bit more. So please get out there. Don't miss out on the action. Download Bet Like a Pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on all the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
5:07, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Do you guys think that the bullpen is the key to the Cardinals' turnaround? Or do you guys think that it's just one aspect of the Cardinals turnaround? Like, do you think, because the April was rough, and as we know, the bullpen won great.
Yeah.
Now then, toward the end of April, like, there's a date where the bullpen kind of just flipped the switch. It was about, I don't know, April 28th or something like that. The date was.
I'd like a precise date, please.
Let's go with April 28th.
Thank you.
Do you think it was just the bullpen that needed to get fixed, and now we're seeing the turnaround, or do you think that it's just part of the larger team turnaround?
I actually think it's the rotation. I think the rotation, pitching as deep as they have, minimizing the use of the bullpen, has worked out better.
And then when the bullpen and then relievers.
You're not relying on the bullpen. Like for a while there, the Cardinals, when they were not winning games, 4 or 5 inning starts for guys. And then you're dipping into the bullpen for 3-4 guys. Like, no.
Right.
And I'm not saying they have to have complete games. Like Eric Fetty, I think he might be the only one that has one this season for the Cardinals. But
right now.
But if you get 7 innings in, or 6 2/3, and whatever it is, you're relying less upon your bullpen. It's not so much heavy lifting, and you're not using the same guys repetitively, tiring arms out. Last couple of years, I mean, it's been the number one thing. Oh, the bullpen's burnt out. They're burnt out again. We got a month left of the season, and everybody's got rubber arms now. So I think, for me, it's the rotation pitching deeper into the game and then relying less upon a bullpen that is now pitching well.
I think it's the bullpen. I'm looking at FanGraphs, and they have the Cardinals at 7 blown saves, which would put them tied for third. They're 12th on the list, but it's 9, 8, and 7, and all those teams are tied. And I couldn't tell you the last time they had a blown save. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time we looked at a game and you said, oh, here we go again. That probably didn't happen. I don't think it's happened this month for sure. It hasn't happened, obviously, in this 8-game win streak. But it probably changed when they sent Roycroft down and Fernandez down. And I think JoJo gave up, I think it was Atlanta when JoJo gave up a shot where they were up in that game. Like, that's the last time I can remember when this team was struggling. So for me, it is the bullpen. The starters are essentially who they have been all year long. You've had a couple of blow-up games. Fetty had one. Miles Michaelis had one. But you haven't had really poor performances from the starting rotation. You've had poor performances from the bullpen. And so for me, I think it's solely the bullpen getting corrected and not allowing those games to get out of hand when you have the lead or when you're in a situation where you are close to in a tight game and not letting it get out of hand. So it's the bullpen for me.
So Jamie says starting rotation. You say bullpen. I think it's part of. I think it's the latter to my question. So here's the question again: is the Cardinals bullpen success a key reason or the key reason for their current surge, or is it just part of the larger team turnaround? I think it's part of the larger team turnaround. I think the rotation has been excellent. It's pitched deeper in the game. You want a better bullpen, use less of your bullpen, and that's what they've done. But they were also playing in a lot of close games, too. That was also an issue. So Ali had to go to some of his key guys to try to lock down games. You had issues, of course, with guys that were not high leverage relievers forced to being used in high leverage situations because your offense maybe not didn't score enough. I think that's a huge component too. Like last night, we haven't said anything about the offense from last night. If that was a game in which they lost, we could have easily highlighted the fact that they just couldn't figure out Christopher Sanchez, who's really good, but they only scored 3 runs. We're not highlighting that because, of course, they had the big clutch hit. But if the offense is rolling like it has been at times, that can save your starter. That can save your bullpen. We saw a game in which who was it? Was it Roycroft who came in and pitched the 9th inning because
a couple of games ago? Yeah,
because the Cardinals had scored like 6 in the 9th inning or something like that.
Was it in Washington, I believe?
It was. Yeah, I think it was in Washington, and maybe I don't have it right.
No, you're right.
It was Roycroft.
Yep.
Those you need those games. So I think it's all of it. I think it's your starters consistently going deep. It's your bullpen fixing a lot of the issues. Steven Matz and Gordon Graceffo stepping into those like versatile, multi.
Give you innings.
Yeah, those last night with Leahy, who was sensational and who has been sensational for you. And yes, the offense providing some of those blowout opportunities, so you're not burning through your high leverage guys all the time.
It was the Pirates game.
Pirates, thank you. This was this has been a complete effort, man. All the way through.
Done a great job.
Yep.
It's been fun to watch.
I hate that they called the game today because of the rain. But we'll get a chance to see doubleheader tomorrow in Philly. Yeah.
Go Cards.
Go Cards. 9 straight wins. We have part 1 of our Sports Six-Pack coming up, so if you have a question, send it in 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line. Got a question, send it in the Air Comfort Service text line, and we'll have it answered next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you want to participate in our Sports Six-Pack, 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line. Marsh, hit us.
Question number 1.
All right, text or troll, and this is quite the callback.
Oh, boy.
From the 636, it's not raining. Why is the game postponed?
That is a text. And no. That's a troll. I mean, a fun troll. And that was definitely from several years ago when the game was not in St. Louis, yet people were texting us complaining that since it wasn't raining wherever they were here in St. Louis, that the game should not have been called. But that game was at Citi Field in Queens, New York, not here. But, yeah, good callback. I think that's a fun troll job.
No, it wasn't. They didn't know.
What?
The text, they didn't. They weren't sure. They thought the game was here.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I responded. I said the game is in Philly.
What'd they say?
Like, oh. Didn't even think that was a possibility.
Son of a gun.
I heard it's actually the weather's terrible down around Busch Stadium right now.
Just around Busch.
Well, that's a different text.
You know what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, no. They were confused. They didn't know.
Okay. Where are we? Go ahead, Mark.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Question number 2.
From the 661, in which sport is a win streak the most impressive?
Football. You do what the Patriots did.
Well, yeah.
You do what the Miami Dolphins once did. It's only been done one time where a team won every game. And the Patriots almost did it, and they lost the biggest game.
Yeah, they got jobbed on that one.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No.
I think it's baseball because baseball is more random. It's way more random.
Hey, you get a 12-game win streak in baseball. What's that?
Impressive.
Yeah. How many? What's the percentage of that? Not even 10%. 8%?
I don't know. But I just think that if
7%?
you get a long, like what the Cardinals did in, 2019? What the hell was it? What was it?
2021.
You don't know what you're talking about, Anthony. Trust me, I know these things.
Baseball's completely random.
Clearly.
The Patriots were on a mission that year.
Yeah. That's why it's more impressive. Trust me.
They got 6 free wins because they played the AFC East.
Oh, wow. Now the free wins, Carey.
Wow. Because of the division.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Right, because the Jets have never had a quarterback since Joe Namath. The Bills just recently found one.
They had Chad Pennington.
Man, they had Mark
Sanchez.
Sanchez. The Sanchez. What are you talking about here? Took them to the AFC Championship game. What the hell are you talking about?
Twice, actually.
Two
Back to back, yeah.
And his orange Crocs.
And Aaron Rodgers. Come on. They've had quarterbacks in their history.
They had
Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Anthony.
They have.
Joe Flacco.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, damn it, Marshy.
Not that Joe Flacco. Not the Super Bowl winning Joe Flacco.
No, he had won a Super Bowl already.
Or the MVP Aaron Rodgers.
He had already done that too.
Whatever. 6 free wins every year for the Patriots. Playing in that crap division.
7.4%. Thank you. Knew my math wasn't that bad. I hope that's right.
That's
they probably Staltered it.
Staltered it for
that sounds about right.
Carey's treating it like it's gospel.
10% is 120. I know that. That would be 12. Just go down from there.
Oh, you get you shut
I do know. Now, trust me, I can figure some things out. Not a lot.
I didn't say anything.
But some things. You were looking at me like, can you figure some things out?
Yeah. We all have some things we need to figure out.
For sure. Very true.
For sure.
Question number 3.
All right, this one comes from Dale in Grubville. I'd like the 2 former pros' answers to this question. Which is worse for the sport of baseball? Or I guess of any sport? Is it PEDs or athletes gambling?
What's worse?
What is worse for the sport?
Oh, I think.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know.
I got an answer.
I think it's gambling.
I disagree.
I think it's gambling.
Hell no.
I don't care about PEDs.
I think it's
roided up, man.
Nah, I think it's. Whoa. I think it's
smokes.
I think it's PEDs if everyone is not on the same playing field. So if you got a couple of guys that are juicing, and they got a little more juice than
I just said
than
everyone
you.
roided up. I don't care.
Well, if everyone is doing it, then
It's normal
It's
then.
all good.
Yeah.
But if you only got a few guys, like if I play against a guy that is juiced and I ain't got the man,
Well, you better get some.
it's illegal.
You shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself. No, my assumption is that the PED testing is still going on, obviously. So at least there's some regulation there. And I know that they say they don't want players to gamble and get, do all that. But it doesn't, there's not a test.
But how much of an impact does one player gambling? Like even if you have a player that is point shaving, like I think it only works really in basketball.
Well,
like you can point
you
shave
can have a
in
quarterback
basketball.
throw an interception, Carey.
Yeah, but
You have a quarterback
about it.
fumble. You have a kicker miss a field goal. Like there's a lot of things that can happen.
But the kicker you got to get to that point. Like they don't have a full, like a quarterback throwing picks.
That's why you make sure there's more than one guy on the team that you got to.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
That's what I hear.
Holy smokes.
With such confidence.
Jeez. Jamie.
One could say that PEDs help save baseball.
Oh, yeah.
That's
one could say that's because it's true.
Everybody was on it. If you only had two people on it, did they really save baseball?
Yeah.
Well, that one year, those two people did actually save baseball.
No, definitely.
There's only one right answer.
Yeah, they definitely save baseball, huh? Yeah. Jamie, boy, you have attacked this segment.
That's a little too.
I know a little bit about this, Anthony.
Flat out said
When I
juice.
played in Russia, they got to more than one of us. They made sure, because I said, I'm not the goalie. What am I going to do? I said, don't worry, we already got to the goalie. I said, okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I'd like to stay alive. Thank you.
Jeez.
Is the Russian gas, is that considered PEDs?
I would say so.
Or does no one know what's actually in there?
Did it get you going?
I don't know. I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
No, I saw these guys get in there and
mask?
come back and they're like, their eyes are twitching. I'm like, what the hell did they just give that guy? And then one time, the trainer, I don't even know if you the guy who carried around the tape, he's got guys hooked up in the little room that he had, and like IVs going, and he's jabbing guys with needles, and he's telling me, here, basically, Davai, like, hurry up. I'm like, no. He's like, vitamin, like vitamins. I'm like, bullshit. That guy just left the room going,
Horse tranquilizer.
I was like, no, there's a lot of stuff.
But how did they perform, Jamie? That's what we really need to know.
They were all over the place. They didn't do very much good, but they could skate forever. It's like, holy crap. I'm like, no, thanks. My career's already over, thanks. I don't need to be doing that stuff.
Wow. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We will continue our Sports Six Pack next, so keep those questions coming in. To the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Sixer next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take down the Phillies last night by a final score of 3-2. They have now won 9 games in a row. They won't be able to make it 10 tonight. The game has been postponed due to the weather, but tomorrow they'll have a doubleheader. First game is at 12:05. The second game is at 5:15. If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six-Pack is next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by the Finnish Long Drink, Finland's best-kept secret. A sparkling citrus beverage made with real liquor. Visit thelongdrink.com.
Part 2 of our Sports Six-Pack is right now with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with question 4, please.
Question number 4.
Guys, Bub wants to know, what is the greatest controversy in sports history?
Controversy.
That's a good question. Wouldn't it be somewhat like the draft lottery? Is that a controversy?
Only if it's proven.
Wow.
Controversy.
I mean, the controversy would be like, it's still up for debate, right?
Yeah. Like a certain play that.
Well, Des Bryant catch. The catch or no catch versus Green Bay.
Yeah.
The Tom Brady. The. Whatchamacallit?
Oh, yeah.
The Flake
No.
No, the tuck.
Oh, the tuck
rule.
rule.
Yeah. Tuck rule.
What about, I don't know, Lance Armstrong, the doping?
It's not really a controversy, though. Had he never been busted, but there was allegations?
All right, then it's got to be the 1919 Black Sox scandal. Because we still debate, like people still debate whether or not, shoeless Joe Jackson actually did throw games. So
yeah,
I don't know what
we got some text. The Astros, did that get proven? They had a picture.
They didn't take away the title.
Yeah.
The Brett Hull in the crease goal is one.
Oh yeah,
where the Dallas Stars beat the Buffalo Sabres in overtime.
Yeah,
he was clearly in the crease. But so Carey, that year the NHL had a rule like even if you had your toe in the crease, they would wave off the goal.
Yeah.
And Brett Hull was in the crease, but they said he was controlling the puck, making a hockey play. It's pretty controversial.
Yeah.
It's a by today's standard, it's easily a goal.
Yeah.
But by the rules that year, it should have been waved off. It really should have.
What was the pitcher that threw the perfect game and played for was it Tigers? Armando
Galarraga.
Oh, and he was called
and he called him safe at first.
Yeah.
That.
By Jim Joyce.
Oh.
Yep.
What happened with Diego Maradona? I remember there's a huge controversy there. Oh, man. I thought it had something to do with, like, the drug cartel or something, too.
Spygate. They got one for...
Yeah, that one's got... I mean, really, all the Patriots ones. Deflategate.
Spygate.
Whether or not that mattered, that didn't matter. Yeah, tuck rule.
What about the basketball game, Russia versus the United States in the Olympics, with that final buzzer beater shot? What didn't it like something? It wasn't supposed to count.
Something happened. I forget. You're right. There is something attached to that game.
Yeah, the Diego Maradona, the hand of God goal in 1986, the controversial handball goal that helped Argentina win the World Cup.
I knew there was something, and there was another thing too.
Floyd Mayweather got a silver medal when he clearly in the Olympics. I think he clearly won that fight years ago. That was a controversy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's got to be.
There's a guy in Chicago got blamed for all the entire city. It's a controversy because the player didn't make the play later on in the game.
Yeah. That's not really a controversy, though.
No, that's a controversy.
I don't know about that.
Hey, man, ran out of town.
I know that happened.
They're trying to harm that man.
Yeah, they did.
As if
they
the
were
players on the field.
Not the greatest. A texture comes up here, 314 says, not the greatest controversy, but the hand pass that year in 2019, the Sharks and the Blues.
That was
a controversial goal for sure. It's not a huge, it wasn't like international, but.
Right.
Didn't Mizzou have a fifth down?
Yeah.
That's right.
Which wasn't a controversy either. Like that literally happened. They got.
You blame the coaches for that, though. Like
somebody should be paying attention.
Somebody got to know.
Where were you on that one?
Somebody got to. That happened to me in high school. Like I was coaching the game, and I was like, "You're wrong. That's too many downs. And I went over the play. What the hell are y'all doing? That was 4. No, yeah, it is, man. I think they got it correct. But yeah, pay attention.
Yeah, in all aspects of life.
Yeah. So which one is the greatest, though?
I don't know.
Black Sox again.
Sure. If we have to pick one, sure.
Yeah. We'll never know. We'll never know if Shoeless Joe Jackson actually threw games.
Guess we'll never know what happened Christmas Eve in Central Park.
True.
I think we do know.
Well, we have an idea.
Oh, okay.
You just got to believe, Anthony.
What? What?
We got this is.
Where are we?
The immaculate reception. That is not a controversy.
No,
that is a damn good play by Franco Harris, hustling while the other team ball watched. Don't get caught ball watching, Jamie.
You certainly don't want that to happen.
You know,
it's just good advice.
It's
just
solid
good,
advice.
clean
Lifetime
advice.
Yeah.
And honestly,
damn ball watching. Buy a ticket. Franco just kept playing.
Number 5.
Tickets. You buy a ticket to ball watch.
Serious ball watching if you're buying tickets.
I guess so. Wow.
Okay, from the 636.
Holy smokes.
This one really hits home. What's worse, burning your food after a long day or dropping your food after you sit down to eat?
Anthony's definitely.
Well, if I may, it's burning the food because it's done. Like if you drop the food, that sucks. But now you have the dilemma. Do I just scoop it up, put it right back on the plate?
Anthony, you had no choice there. No choice.
I mean, we're talking about a lot of foot traffic in that kitchen. I had no choice but to throw that meatball away.
He wasn't. Now, if nobody saw it, he was eating that for sure.
If you would have saw the anger on his face, he came around that corner, bumped into something, and
that was bad.
It was really bad.
Knocked it clean like the helmet on that football in DeKalb in 1998. Stalter of the fumble.
So what about if
caught it clean?
You sat there and you had a long day at work, went home, bought yourself a steak. This is when I first got separated, was in the house by myself. I got a beautiful filet mignon on the way home, grilled that puppy, perfect, medium rare, had a glass of red wine, just gonna be like, hey, you know what? I turned to go get the utensils, and the dog ate my steak.
Oh, wow. Yeah, share it there, Jamie.
Oh, that would have, that.
It was fighting words.
Yeah. You talking about mad?
Yeah. I was pretty upset, to say the least. Dog was happy. He said, if nothing else, the dog was like, oh, it was pretty good, man. Good job.
Yeah. Oh,
that was a kick right in the bells.
That might be worse.
Yeah. Because I was so angry.
Because you can't eat it now. I mean, you could eat food burned.
I thought about reaching in and taking it back.
Yeah, but I'm glad.
The dog almost one-timed it. I think it was like, It was gone.
Oh, that would piss me off.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day, that's for sure.
That sucks.
Yeah, well.
Question number 6.
Gentlemen, how early is too early to do a fantasy football draft?
Now.
Today?
I would say right now. Yeah.
Anybody doing that is a psycho.
Yep. They got these drafts where you could just choose rookies.
It's kind of crazy.
So
that
weird.
anybody
Trade
would
picks.
Yeah, it's
Rookies
crazy.
haven't even played a game yet.
You don't know what you're getting.
Silly.
Yep.
Somebody doing that right now is
psycho.
You gotta be careful. Watch. Keep an eye on them.
I don't know why they would do that. It's just weird.
I agree, especially if the people like in the league are telling you, "Hey, hurry up! Like, hurry up! We need to get this over with."
And you're at work, working the job.
Maybe you're producing a show,
and you got guys asking you a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And asking you to do stuff, and you got to get your fantasy draft, your rookie fantasy draft, going.
Mm-hmm.
That person's probably crazy as hell.
Yep.
Probably the kind of guy that leaves clothes on the couch and blesses it.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, Carey, I think your profile is accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of this.
Oh, are you participating?
Yes, the question.
I don't have a choice.
You asked the question.
Are you participating?
Well, in this hypothetical scenario, I would be.
And you're a part of it.
I would
Sorry,
be.
Marsh.
I'm getting flack over here.
The people have spoken.
You could say no. I don't want to be a part of your silly rookie fantasy
One thing we learned about
It's a
Marshy
keepers
is
league.
when there is peer pressure, he's gonna.
I don't have a choice.
See, he's gonna succumb.
I don't have a choice.
You always have a choice.
You do actually have a choice.
You do.
Yeah.
No, I
Put your
don't.
damn foot
Otherwise,
down.
I
Kicked out of
lose
the
my
friend
pick
group?
like the Minnesota Vikings did one time.
Well, that's your favorite team.
Why do you care about picking the rookies?
Because we all pick the rookies. It's a keepers
So it goes
league.
into.
So the only draft that you have is for rookies.
Oh, so you got to keep your whole team.
You keep your whole team.
Not one player.
No, you keep your entire team. Now you're just bringing in rookies.
Wow,
That's
you guys
fun.
take it serious.
That's harsh.
Now
If you
it's
screwed
May.
up last year, you're screwed this year.
Yeah.
I
How long
did.
have you been doing this?
This is the second year now.
Okay.
Oh, still weird.
And I had the third
And
overall
entire-
pick. 'Cause I was
So you
bad.
didn't. No. Okay. Yeah.
I had a
That
bad
means.
year. But you know what? I was playing. I'm playing for the future.
Who did you pick again?
Be
your
patient.
Third pick.
Anthony, who was it?
Jenkins.
That's right.
Was it Jenkins, the running back?
No.
Judkins.
No. It was Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah. Why don't we have a look here?
Trayvon Henderson, and then he took.
Jaden Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you will.
Is this the league that you're in with Rachel?
No.
Okay.
No, this is a different league.
No more trying to help her. She would have beat you last year.
Yeah, you should have stayed out of it, Marshy. Let her do her thing. She's a very smart
She
girl.
came in second place. I helped her out.
You
Would have been first.
It would have been first. You talked her out of a couple
That's
of key
not
picks.
true. We had a better quarterback, in my opinion.
And how did it work?
She came in second.
Jane first, you're last.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was high when I said that.
Rachel, last time I talked to her, she managed to bring it up, too. It's like
She
every
was
time we
pissed,
see her,
man.
she brings it up just subtly.
She was ticked off.
not over
I don't blame her.
She's not over it.
Yeah. All right. What we learned, 3 stars of the day, criticisms and compliments next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, when it comes to your home, you want something that lasts. You don't need the fancy gimmicks, just solid work that will stand the test of time. And Window Nation is that. They have been trusted, St. Louis trusted window pros for years, providing reliable, durable windows built to keep your home secure and comfortable. They know what matters most to you: home security, insulation, and comfort. And their windows are built to keep your home warm in the winter and cool in the summer and secure year-round. And right now, Window Nation's semi-annual sale is back. Help keep your house cool in May with Window Nation. They have some of the best insulated windows that money can buy. Their windows frequently outperform the old ones, the other ones from other companies, the expensive guys. You don't need them. Reach out to them today, 866-90-NATION, or visit them online at windownation.com. Right now, you can get 60% off and a free entry door when you buy a whole house of windows. You can get 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 2 full years. And you can get 2 free Cardinal tickets when you replace all of your windows. The Cardinals are playing well. Your new windows can be installed in 1 day or less, so reach out to them today, 866-90Nation, or visit them online at windownation.com.
When you're That's Carey Davis, everybody.
You timed that perfectly.
You did. You timed it perfectly.
That's funny.
If you missed anything from today's show, including Carey trying to clear his throat on that one, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All of the podcasts, of course, brought to you by Shaver Door Company. Time to find out what everybody learned today, starting with our guy, Andrew Marsh.
I learned there's just some things you shouldn't say on the air. Not that it violates FCC rules or anything. It's just you never know who's listening.
That's right.
And even though what I said should be universally known, maybe some people don't know.
Yeah.
So
can't ruin things for people, Andrew.
We'll leave it at that.
Carey.
I learned that if you're playing hockey in Russia, you should probably pack light. In case you gotta move around.
Stay mobile.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's good advice, yeah. Jamie?
I learned that all you have to do to get into the Hall of Fame is die.
Whoa. I don't think that's all you guys.
It's Pete Rose. That's all he had to do is pass away. Now he's fine. He's not banned anymore.
He's got the most hits ever, Bob.
Yeah, but
that part matters.
But he had to die first.
Well, sometimes,
Am I wrong?
Never mind.
No.
Thank you.
Not with Pete Rose.
And it's what I learned, Carey.
Sometimes
we already asked you what you learned.
Sometimes people are celebrated more after.
Why does Carey always try to tell me what I've learned and how I feel?
I'm just saying, sometimes people are celebrated more after their death.
And I learned that once you're dead, you can get into the Hall of Fame if you're banned.
Okay.
So you're literally saying Pete Rose died for this?
He may have. Maybe it killed him inside first.
What I learned is that even the frostiest of hearts can still give Jeremy Rutherford a decent grade for his report card.
Frostiness.
Proud of you.
Jamie Rivers, very complimentary of JR's grades.
He did a great job. He always works hard. Always does a good job. You just got it right this time.
Okay. There it was. Marsh, what do you got for us?
We got a text from Grant Francis's fan club. This show is like Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Crazy, but for some unknown reason, I stay hooked.
There you go.
Yeah. Well said.
It ain't the same
Thank
reason.
Not the same. At least I don't think so.
I'm very sure of that.
Grow up, Anthony.
What the hell?
Doug's Tariff says the 5-second rule. Anthony, did you apply the 5-second rule with your meatball?
No, I didn't. Carey saw I dropped it. I threw it right in the trash.
Real question. If nobody saw the meatball hit the ground,
I would have thought about it.
No,
I still would have thrown it away, but I would have thought about it.
I think he eats it.
If you'd have saw how it fell and how much it was, how it all over the floor, you wouldn't have eaten it.
I think he would have eaten it.
If you would have eaten that,
Anthony's been known to eat things and make a belly go puke.
Well, he'd have definitely been.
I give you that.
He'd have been in here like that one day when he had to leave.
Oh, that was bad. I was sick.
I don't know what happened. That
same weekend, I had like 140 degrees temperature.
Say a word for that segment.
You got sick and lost your voice.
Yeah.
I got sick and lost my voice.
Yeah. But we all had different things.
Marshy.
Yeah. Marshy, that was rough.
We did lose Marshy for a couple of days, too.
Yep.
For what?
Last year
when we all got
he
sick.
started, we brought in the
is it because he's putting chicken tenders that fell on the floor back in the box?
Probably.
Oh, did you?
Okay, come on.
Did he do that?
I cleared him out. I didn't put him. I didn't put him back in your container. I threw him out.
Wait, the ones that fell on the floor in here.
Yeah.
You put them back in the box.
No, I threw them away.
No.
He said, Jamie, don't say anything.
I watched you do it. I go, you better not put that in my box.
A lot of those fell in Jamie's bag.
So whatever's in his bag.
Chicken tenders everywhere. Jeez.
Jamie's a clean individual, so I just put those back in the box.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No worries there.
No.
Nah. None whatsoever.
Good, clean living.
Yeah.
Marsh?
We're not really getting any more coming in. I guess people just don't like us.
Yeah. Well, that's a criticism in and of itself. Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and do our 3 stars of the day?
Let's do that.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
We did, though, have some text messages coming in saying that this is actually the right time to do the rookie draft. If you
those text messages
in...
came from the other guys in your psycho group.
I don't think so. One of them came from one came from Carey's arch nemesis in Chester.
Oh,
so we're gonna give the third star of the day to the Lindenwood Dynasty League.
Oh. Congrats to you guys. That's the name of the league?
That's the name of the league.
All right, cool.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
You want to share what the message said about what we were doing?
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let me find it real quick. It said, ha, ha, ha. Marsh asked a question on the show, about the league, and they're fast lane crapping on us.
Shout out to the Lindenwood Fantasy League.
The Lindenwood Dynasty League.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Dynasty League.
I want to get it
Not
right.
just any fantasy.
Hopefully you get a better, have a better season this year, Mark.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Our second star of the day goes out to Living Forever.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't, Marcia, you already disclosed the information.
It's already ruined for so many children around the city.
true.
of St. Louis.
Maybe they weren't tuned in at that time.
No, that was it was perfect timing. That's why
They're on their way home.
They're
Right
on their
after
way
school,
home.
Mom and Dad
just got in the car.
They couldn't turn
Just-
the radio off fast enough.
Maybe they just, went to soccer practice or baseball practice, and then they're in the
And all
car
their other
again.
friends were talking about it at soccer practice.
Did you know?
You heard Andrew Marsh?
I know now. Dad, is it true?
No one would have said anything if you didn't bring it up. That reminds me of that other thing that happened a couple years ago.
I think
That was the best one.
All right, our first star of the
that was
day.
your first day.
It was I thought he was going to quit the first day.
Oh, man. All right, our
We'll have
first
to fill you in on that one,
Yeah,
CD.
let me know. I wasn't here for that one.
Our first star of the day goes out to report cards.
Let's go, baby. Good work, JR.
Shout out to Karen.
Yes, thank you, Karen. For all these years, thank you.
All right, we've got Celtics and Knicks Game 5 pregame tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5:30. We've got instant replay coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. But we're off a little early tomorrow night. 5:30 matchup, Celtics and Knicks. Says the Celtics try to continue this series without Jason Tatum. For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.